Pedro Dura Santiago back at you with another live. Listen, I hope y'all are well. Tonight's show is going to be fun. I got something different planned for you guys. Somebody give me a thumbs up if you don't mind. Let me know if the audio sounds okay and the visuals look good. And then we will start. Hope everybody's having a good night. Hope everybody made money if you worked. I hope if you didn't work, you had a better day and you was with family. So let me wait for a thumbs up if we can get it. Make sure the audio's good. I'll give some shout outs in a minute. All good. Thank you, Tori. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very, very much. All right. Roxanne, thank you, my brother. Audio is great. Thank you, John. Okay, so let's talk about my week. My week was a good week. I did dash a little bit yesterday. I didn't do any dashing today. No, did I dash? Yeah, I did. I actually took 2 orders yesterday because I was running errands and I took them. Anyways, my week was good. Hit my goal. Had a good week. Hope you guys had a good week. So tonight we're going to do a live FaceTime debate conversation with A-Hole Patrol. Okay, he has a channel. Check it out. He did a video. The reason I came onto this gentleman's channel that I knew he was even a thing, right? Because he doesn't do gig content stuff, guys. He does other things. He's an opinionated young guy, but he brings some interesting points. And that's why when I reached out to him, I was super excited that he said, yeah, let's do it. So my friend Hannibal's Hungry did a video maybe about a month ago talking about, this guy's got a video. He doesn't believe in tipping culture in America and gives some very passionate reasons as to why. I saw it. Most of the people that are going to be in this live chat and watch the replay are going to probably be like, no, we need tips. We need tips, right? I like to bring people on this channel that think differently because maybe we can learn something. And I think it's going to make for a great conversation. So basically, we're going to, you guys know me. I'm no tip, no trip. I come from a service industry background. I believe you should tip for certain services. He thinks, no way. Tipping in America is a bad thing. We shouldn't have to pay more. The company should pay the employees better. And he has other opinions as well. We'll get into that. But I'm super excited. 70 people in here already. It's going to be a good show. So basically, the format of tonight's show, we'll have some other topics as well, but it's going to be about 9:20 or so, and then we'll bring him in. I don't have StreamYard, y'all. I need to get with that. I need to figure out. I'm not very good with technology. So basically, him and I are going to FaceTime. So you're going to hear him on audio, but then I will also show his face on my phone. And you guys can ask him questions in the chat. He'll be following along. And I got questions for him, and me and him are going to have a back and forth, and it's going to be live. And I basically have 3 questions for him, but then the conversation is going to flow very naturally, organically. I want you guys to ask him questions. And then after me and him talk, maybe for 30 minutes, we'll see. It's going to, I'm not putting a time limit on it, but I also want to take your guys' calls afterwards. So the first topic will be, how do you think the debate went? What good points you think were brought up? You can talk about that. Second topic of tonight's show is going to be, I did a video this week and I saw another video and there's some analytics that are being put out. Does having 4 or more gig apps running active at one particular time while you're out trying to make money actually make you less money? I want to get people's perspective on that. Some of the analytics, small sample size, I believe, are saying that if you have 4 or more, that's actually hindering your performance by about $5 per hour. The sweet spot seems to be if you have 3 active apps. These aren't apps that you have just on your phone and you haven't used in months. These are ones that you have on while you're out today. 3 seems to be better. You're making $25 an hour. If you have 2, it's a little bit less. If you have 1 app, it's like $21 or $22 an hour. Anyways, so that's the topic. Third topic will be, have you seen any changes in your market with the holiday season? We're in the middle of it right now, basically. What changes are you seeing? Or is it good? Is it bad? Is there any advice you have that you're seeing? Trends? If you're somebody that's worked multiple holidays in the gig economy, call in. We can talk about that. Those are the topics. And then also we're going to talk about the giveaway. So we did a giveaway for this shirt right here. Appreciate everybody that commented saying that you want a shirt. I got 3 names. I've already replied to those people in the last hour or so. They might have seen it. I will announce those names, and then we'll do that in about 10 minutes or so. And then that person can connect with me on my email, and we will get those shirts out to you. So if those people, I can pretty much give you a week or so. If I don't hear from them like I did with the last giveaway, we'll pick somebody else. But I think those 3 people will reply. And we'll get into the live chat and we'll give some shout outs real quick. We also have 3 featured channels. We do 3 featured channels every single week. I try to do 2 gig channels and then 1 non-gig. This week's kind of like 2.5 gig channels because I got 3, but they're all, one of them is gig related, but then she also has other things. I stumbled upon that channel today. First channel, GiG Lebowski. A lot of you guys are going to know who GiG Lebowski is. I think I saw that he's in here already. GiG Lebowski, me and him actually talked the other day. Let's get this, I think he's a little over 500 right now. Go check his channel out. He doesn't work Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Shout out to GiG for that. He values his time. He's been, working W-2 jobs for a while. He values his time, his family. And he makes videos 4 or 5 days out of the week. Check out his channel. GiG Tetris Dude. GiG Tetris, like the game, Tetris Dude. He does a lot of Instacart, okay? And he's got some interesting videos, good perspective. Definitely somebody that has a lot of knowledge, specifically about Instacart, but other apps as well. Check out his channel, GiG Tetris Dude. And then the last one was one I stumbled upon today, kind of a newer channel. It's only maybe 100 subs. Angelika Simone. Angelika, Angelika, Simone, Simon, all lowercase. I put the names there. I'll try to put the descriptions later on the replay. Those are 3 channels: GiG Lebowski, GiG Tetris Dude, Angelika Simone. Check them out. Okay. What time we got? 9:07. So we got a little bit of time. Well, let's do some shout outs real quick. See who's in the chat, and then we will talk about the giveaway winners next. So Cynthia, Kunita, hello. Kathy, how are you? We have Gigs, what up, brother? Michelle Flex, Slavic, what up, brother? Neil, Nova Dasher, how are you, my friend? We have John. We have Sabette Lopez, Smacking Ass 2007. Lucinda, how are you, my friend? High Priority 100. Roy will be Roy. Always watching, I see. Roy, I want to mention something as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. Cynthia, we got Ron in the house. DoorDash Red. We got Nova Dasher. We got Ron again, Sabette. We got Roxon in the house. Always appreciate your support, man. Thank you very much. I see you in a lot of places. Neil, Colleen, Tori. We got William Anderson. What up, man? How are you doing? William Anderson with your question of the day for December 5th, 2021. I love it, man. I like those questions of the day. And, I replied to your question today, and some people didn't agree with that, and that's fine. But I'm not somebody that will ever hide from questions. You guys know me. I'm everywhere. So maybe I misspoke. It don't matter. But we'll talk about that later, maybe, if the night has time. Dashing Grandpa in the house. What up? Ryan, Trey. We got Sean, Mr. Grandpa, D&K Adventures. We got Adam. How are you, my friend? Always good to see you. Roy. We got Mr. Flex. Yo, what up? From New Jersey, baby. Flora. We got Jenny, Slavic again, Mixed Martial Alien. Joseph, what up, man? Always, Joseph Long. Listen, I love your comments, man. I can tell you're commenting when you're watching the video. You comment multiple times as you're watching it. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Because to be completely honest with you guys, the more you comment, the more the algorithm pushes the video. So anytime you guys comment, I try to reply to every single comment. I hope you guys know that. Cup of Laughter, the Bone Dog NB Heckle. I don't know how to say that. Rainbow, what up? All right, we got more. Danny, I think I hit everybody's name that I've seen. Mad Dash for Road Trip Cash. What up, man? Why'd you reject your message? Don't do that, bro. Show's about to start, y'all. Don't worry. Tommy, we got Paul, Neil. All right, so I think I got Ryan, our Cold Water, Flora. I think I got everybody's names. Deshaun, everybody that I've seen is pretty much Joel. Okay, I think I got everybody. Craig. All right, so my week was a good week. I was really excited to do this. Been gearing up for that. Had a good week. Today, I took a walk with Ruby around the neighborhood this morning. Like I did a little disc golf. I played disc golf with my nephew, my 2 brother-in-laws, and my father. That's fun. If you don't know what disc golf is, it's basically a frisbee, and there's like 18 holes or 9 holes, like a golf course, right? And you're just trying to get them into the cup. It's fun. It's free entertainment. I like doing it. All right, so what time we got? 9:10. All right, so let's do the giveaway winners right now. So I picked these. This is 124. You guys are ready for this debate, this back and forth, man. I'm loving it. All right, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. If you hit the thumbs up, more people might want to see this. Or they could see it. So we did a giveaway starting, I think, last Sunday when I was driving back from Virginia. Said everybody makes a comment saying that you want a shirt. I'll put you in, enter it in. So I had to pick 3 videos out of the 7 or 8 actually that were out this past week, right? Whether they're shorts or whatever. And I randomly picked 3 videos, and then I randomly picked 3 names. So these are the names for the free shirt. If your name is announced, reach out to me via email. My email is in the community tab not the community tab, the about section of my channel page, and I will get you your shirt. So the first winner, Melissa Hill, Melissa, last name Hill, Hill. You are the first winner. Congratulations. Second winner. You guys like my sound effects? Kani K, Kanik. You are the second winner. And I did reply to these winners already, telling them that they were a winner and to check the show out. So, and the third winner of the B.O.Y Bet on You Secos One Day at a Time t-shirt, which are super comfortable, is David Kurek. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong. Kurek. You are the three winners: Melissa Hill, Kani K, I don't know, and David Kurek. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting. And I can't wait to get one of these shirts out to you. Hit my email with size and PO box or address or however you want me to get it to you. I could ship it to your local FedEx or post office or DHL or however you want it. I'll make sure you get it. Probably once you hit me with the information, it might take about a week and a half to get you that shirt. Don't forget the size. I need size as well. These tend to run kind of true to size. This is a medium that I have on. I'm not a big guy, so take that into consideration. All right. And don't forget, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you. 61 thumbs up. All right. So we will be connecting with him pretty soon. So once again, tonight's show is going to be a debate with A-Hole Patrol, his actual channel name. You guys want to check it out. He's got some really good content. I'll talk about one of the videos in particular in a minute, but he does not believe in tipping. He doesn't tip. He says he doesn't tip. He thinks it's ridiculous. He thinks it's, where he's already being charged too much. Why do you tip your tattoo guy? Why do you tip the nail salon? Why do I got to tip the barber? Why do I tip the restaurant? Why do I tip food delivery? Doesn't believe in tipping. You guys know me. I believe in certain instances, it's good to tip. If you want good service, you should tip. If you're considerate, you should tip. That's how I feel. Now, I'm a delivery driver, right? To my knowledge, he's not. So, obviously I'm going to have that opinion. Most of you guys are delivery drivers or have been a delivery driver. So, or you worked in a restaurant, so you're going to think differently as well. So that's what the show is going to be about tonight. But then we also got topics. You can call in or text in and I'll call you. We'll do that at some point tonight. Tonight's show might be a little bit long. You guys know if you guys are rocking with me, I'll rock with you. We'll see how it goes. Me and him will probably have this debate talk for maybe 30 minutes. You can call in and talk about how you think that went and how you think, what do you feel about tipping culture in America? I have some facts to back it up as far as like how it started. And that's really the way it started here in America is not a good history compared to what it is right now. Okay. So we'll talk about that. Second topic, does running 4 or more gig apps at one time actually making you less money? So what I mean by that is if you went out today and you had DoorDash on, Uber Eats on, Instacart on, Grubhub all on at the same time, and you're juggling those 4 at the same time, are you actually making less money than if you only had 3 on? Some analytics, some data will actually say yes. If you have 4 or more, you're making $19 an hour. If you have only 3 on at one time, 2 or 3 on at one time, you're making $25 an hour. It's a $5.50 swing. If you work 5 hours a day, it's $25, $30. If you work 10 hours at $50, you're costing yourself. Possibly. I want to talk about that. Third topic is, are you seeing any changes in your market yet with the holiday season? Are you seeing longer waits? Are you seeing issues with merchants? Are you seeing more lobbies closed? Are you seeing that it's getting better? Are you getting better offers? Are you seeing more retail offers from places like Bed Bath & Beyond, shopping orders, picking up from Macy's, things like that? I want to know about that as well. So few minutes here. Let's see. We also needed to talk about, I want to say something real quick because I think most of you guys know this, but I like to address things as they come up in real time. Okay. I am super appreciative of every one of you. Okay. This channel has grown to something that I didn't think it would. I thought from the beginning, and I've been very consistent, I just want to get 1,000 subscribers because I thought I can help 100 people a day if I had 1,000 subscribers. I didn't know about monetization. I didn't know about any of that. DoorDash Dad actually reached out to me as I was getting close and said, hey, you should probably monetize. You could make money on YouTube, because he was making money on YouTube. I had no idea. I thought you had to have millions of subscribers to make money. That is not the case. Okay. I make money on YouTube. I do. You guys know that. Most of you guys know that. And I'm appreciative of you guys watching, super chatting. I'm appreciative of you guys commenting and hitting the thumbs up or hitting the thumbs down or having a question or wanting to come on and debate. Like, I appreciate all the love and all the support. I hope you guys know that. I've given away money on this channel. I'm giving away shirts on this channel. I try to do small things to let you guys know I appreciate you. If you guys spend your time, and everybody's busy, to comment on my video, I hope you guys know that I comment right back, usually within a day or two. And I'm very interactive with you guys. I do a live show for you guys. I think I could do more. This channel, if it continues to grow, I will continue to do more, make better content, different content, continue to do giveaways, continue to, we're going to do a GiG conference in 2022 that I will be setting up with the help of a few others. So I'm trying to really help the community. And I want you guys to know that I appreciate all of you guys. And I realize that you guys watch. And because you watch, YouTube pays me. And some of you guys super chat me and I get paid from you directly. So I appreciate that. All right. That's all I'll say about that. But GiG conference, for those of you that are new here, something I've been talking about for a couple of months now. We're going to do a GiG conference in the summer of 2022 where we basically all get together in a conference, like a hotel setting. Don't know where it'll be yet. It'll be like a 2-day kind of deal. We can all meet, greet, share stories. There'll be entertainment, food, drinks, giveaways. I like for everybody that comes to give $1 or $2, and then maybe we do a DoorDash order and we give that driver a couple $100 tip. Do some fun stuff, do some challenges. Going to come up with some ideas. I'm up for ideas. If you guys want to hit my email, you can do that. That's something that we'll be putting together on this channel as well. I don't know if it's ever been done, and I want to try it out. So we'll be doing that as well. A couple of minutes, and we're going to get with A-Hole Patrol here. So the way it's going to work is I don't have StreamYard, y'all. I don't have any of that stuff. I need to get it. If you guys want to tell me how it works, I'm tech savvy. I'm not tech savvy. So basically, we're going to, I sent him a link. He's going to chime in on FaceTime on his desktop. So he will be here, okay? And you guys will hear his audio. You'll hear the conversation, the debate that we will have. And I will also show him on the actual screen as well. He said I could do that as well. And I'll do that if you guys want to see his face and whatnot. So we're going to be doing that just in a couple of moments here, okay? So get your popcorn if you need it. Grab your beverage. Take a seat. If you're out dashing, you can enjoy the audio. However you want to rock with this. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that, man. I think this young man, I think he's a smart dude. I think I might have bit off more than I can chew by asking him. You guys know me. I'm not, the smartest dude, but I know a little bit. But this guy is a passionate young guy. You guys are going to meet him. And I want you to check his channel out as well. He's got some funny stuff on there. So the one channel, before I call him, the one video I saw today, he basically goes against the grain with like norms. He does video dissing Disneyland. He used to work there. He did a video talking about like slam poetry. And if you don't know what slam poetry is, basically like people that get on the mic, they got like a fedora hat or something like that. And they're like, just like they're smoking a cigarette and they're talking about like life and stuff. He did 2 videos where he's just bashing that community. And it's actually kind of funny. Okay. So this guy's probably, I know he's going to give me a run for my money. I know he's going to bring up some good things, but listen, I like to flex my muscles when it comes to having conversations with people that do not think like us. I think it's good. Okay. So if he beats me up in this conversation, I'm game. Okay. If we have just a cordial conversation and he makes good points and I make good points, it's all good. At the end of the day, Pedro Dora Santiago ain't scared of having any conversation with anybody. So let's get into it. We're getting ready to chime in. I'm going to get with him right now. And when you guys are hearing him talk and hearing us talk, let me know if the audio sounds good or not, because I don't want to just get wrapped up in the conversation and the quality's not there. You guys said you can hear me, and we do call-ins, and you guys can hear that, so I think we should be good. All right, there we go. See what else we got in there. Absolutely, Dashing Grandpa, man. Listen, so he says a couple of minutes and we'll be good. Yeah, we have to be able to, the only way you learn is from talking to other people that might think different. Now, there are some fundamental things that I will have conversations with people and I'll tell them to their face, you're an idiot, because I believe they're wrong for whatever reason. But there are other things where I say, hey, tell me more. I don't know much about that. I want to hear more. Tell me more. This is my experience, but obviously everybody has a different walking life. And we all have different experiences. We come from different backgrounds, whether it's religious, political, where you grew up, like whatever, right? If you're a woman or a man, you'll have different opinion on things. And, so I think it's important to have conversations with people that might think differently, right? I think that's good. And I've always had like a mixed group of friends in my family. We, debate certain things and talk about things. I think it's good to get those juices flowing in your brain. And if you're just having conversations with people that think like you all the time, the same, and are always agreeing, and that's really boring. I think that's really boring, right? I think most of us, that's comfortable and we do that, and that's fine. But sometimes you got to go out of your comfort zone a little bit, right? You got to branch out a little bit, I would say. So just waiting on him to chime in and we'll get the show started. I've already talked enough. We'll send a couple of pages. You going to give your community a name. Yeah, there's a lot of people doing other good things. It's not just me. He does has some decent points. Yes, Matt, he does. I that's why I wanted him. That's why I reached out to him, because I think he made some decent points. And some of the things he said, I've covered in past videos as well, and I think he does have some good points. Mr. Flex, I think there's nothing he can say that would back him up on the no tipping part. We'll see. You could be right, though. Slavic, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Slavic D has a channel as well. I think he's up. He's got like 90 something subs. Let's get him to 100 subs tonight, guys. Let's get him to 100 subs. Christopher Taylor, thank you. Customers seem to be tipping lately, but think it will fall back off after the holidays. I think so too, Christopher, because people are going to spend their money now, and it's kind of happy, joy. But then those credit card bills come in January, February, and some people are thinking about taxes, and the pocketbooks get a little thinner once you get past Valentine's Day. Pocketbooks get a little bit thinner. All right, so we're getting ready right now, guys. I hope you guys are ready. Get your questions ready. Get your popcorn. Let's see. Hold up. I got to click that and that. All right, here we go.
Hey, Pedro, you coming through?
Hey, man. How are you?
Hey, what's up? Doing good?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to see you, man. So I'm going to show everybody this handsome young man. Here we go. A-Hole Patrol. He's got the green screen behind him. There we go. All right. So
comments are probably trying to kill me by
now. No, it's all good. All right. So, I've told there's 180 people in here now, which is cool. A lot of them know about, I gave them a little bit of backdrop of the video and things like that. So we talked about that a little bit. Basically, I asked you some questions real quick, and then we will get into kind of just a natural back and forth like we talked about. So,
yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I saw your video that you put out. When did that video come out originally? I don't remember. It came to me like a month ago, but when did you film it?
I think I filmed it about like 10 or so months ago, and I've been sitting on it for a long time. I just got back into YouTube around the time that I made it. And I've been thinking about that one for a long time, because like I always talk about my position on tipping to people in real life, and I feel like I've refined my points because I've been through the whole argument 100,000 different times with people. So after like going in and out through that, I was like finally like, okay, I'm just gonna put this out on YouTube. I'm gonna let people get mad at me, whatever, but I'm gonna say what I have to say, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like on my page but are kind of quiet about it because they're like, ooh, do I talk about this? Like, do I talk about not wanting to tip, or like wanting to get rid of tipping altogether? Or do I just like keep it in? Because it's kind of like a taboo subject,
No, absolutely. I think it takes, you're in the minority with some of the viewpoints, but then I also looked at the comments in your video, and you got a lot of love too. I think you actually kind of sparked like people saying, you know what? Yeah, I feel like that. Somebody's got the balls to actually say it. So I think
I get back and forth. Like I get a lot of abuse in those comments, but whatever. Like I'm used to it. Like I've been YouTubing for so long that I'm used to people just getting pissed and being like, "Oh, well, you're just an asshole and you're just cheaper." Oh, can I say asshole on here?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay, cool. I was like, I'm not sure if they're gonna demonetize you.
It might be limited, but this video ain't about that, so it's all good, man.
All right, cool. Yeah, no, my name is Asshole Patrol. Like I'm doomed from the start. I'm never gonna. I am a YouTube partner though, miraculously somehow.
Awesome. Yeah. You've got like what 3,500 subscribers, right? So
like not as many as you, but I got a decent audience.
Well, it's all about what you're putting out, and if you're passionate about it, and if you believe in it, and you know what I mean. So, all All right, so let's get into some. I got some questions for you. Okay, so why do you think tipping is bad? And I want to give you the floor on that, and we'll talk.
All right, tipping is bad. Like, okay, from what perspective? Because like, there's so many angles that I come at this from. Because like, part of it is like, why do I think tipping is bad? Like, from my standpoint as like a customer, or like, why do I think it's just bad for society in general?
Well, I think, yeah. Look, why do you think it's bad from a customer's perspective? Because we're all consumers, right? We all get haircuts, we get food, we go out to eat, we go whatever, and then also, touch a little bit. Why do you think it's bad culturally and maybe in this country?
Yeah, like from a customer standpoint, it's annoying to see a price and then after you paid that price, be expected to open up your wallet again and give more money. And I hate it when people do this practice in all kinds of other circumstances, and tipping is just one of those practices, except that's the one that is like taboo to oppose. You know, like if you buy like like an airline ticket, and then they say, okay, it's like this many hundreds of dollars to take this flight, and then they're like, oh, and then there's like a fuel surcharge. You're like, okay, well, like I feel like I've been lied to if I'm presented with a price and then expected to pay another price on top of that. Like, I think that's frustrating. I don't like when you're done and you're like trying to split a bill with people and everybody has to figure out like, oh, I paid this much, this much. And they're like, oh, well, how much are we going to put in for the tips? And some people are like, oh, well, you paid 12. And some people say, no, you got to pay 20. Like, and then it always devolves into this like talk about tipping.
So have you had, so you mentioned about being out with people and split checks, and maybe it sounds like you've had a conversation at maybe a dinner table while you're out about tipping. So let's talk about that a little bit. Did you have like was it a bad conversation that made you go down this path, or what?
So whenever it comes time to split the tip, I put down what I owe for the meal and I say, I don't tip. And
no, hold up. Do you write that in? Do you write I don't tip on the tip line?
I started putting that in on the tip lines just so the servers know they didn't do anything wrong. I'll just.
That's really. I mean, that takes some balls. Yeah. That takes some balls to write that. I don't know
if I'm being like cheeky or an asshole, but like I'll put that down and be like, nothing personal. I never tip, and that's just it. Just so they don't feel like, oh, did I do something wrong?
I can respect the honesty and coming from somebody that worked restaurants, managed them, I served myself. If I got that, my thought initially would be like, that dude's a jerk. But then as I thought maybe later, I'd be like, hey, at least he was honest and I didn't think about why he didn't leave me a tip all night. Because some people do that. They'll like kind of fester on it, but at least hey, he doesn't tip. It is what it is. And then maybe you make the decision to, not care and move on and work, do whatever you got to do. So.
Yeah. And I mean, usually they're going to get tips from other people. Like I usually end up having like a little Mr. Pink conversation. If like, if I'm with people who've never gone out with me, they're like, wait a minute, you're not putting in a tip. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
So you're Steve Buscemi. When you go out with your friends, you're Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
But,
I
don't like that. And the other thing is, and this is like, this kind of mixes in with like the societal perspective, but it's just not the responsibility of a customer to take on the role of the employer in terms of giving out wages. That's just, you're an employee. If you're a server or a driver or like a hairstylist, anything that's like you're supposed to get tipped for, you're an employee of the establishment and it's their responsibility to pay. And like having that pushed down onto me is such a frustrating thing where it's like, oh, well, you pay my employee now. And it's like, every other industry can do that. Like, why not? Like, why not this like really arbitrary set of like service jobs? Because not all service jobs use the tipping system.
Very true.
It's like, it's really random and like sometimes unexpected. Like, I still don't understand why you're supposed to tip like a barber. Like that one is a weird one because when it comes to, hold on, let me turn off my notifications here 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
When it comes to, because when it comes to food, and I think that this is bullshit. Like people say like, oh, well, you pay the price of the meal for the food and you pay the price of the tip for the service, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like say when you go to get a haircut, you're supposed to tip the barber, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you pay the price of the haircut for the haircut and then you pay the tip for the haircut.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I have a few friends that are barbers. Okay, so this is what they tell me. Okay, and I've never done it myself, but I've asked them this question because I was curious. It's odd. Most barbers, unless you own your own salon, you're actually renting out that space. Or if you're a salon, like nail tech or barber, beautician, whatever, you're renting out that space and you're paying somebody a rental amount to have that chair, right? So as a barber, you set the price, right? Some barbers you go, man, it could be $10. Right now it's $40, $50 at some places. Really expensive. The pandemic, actually, that was one of the areas that heightened after everybody was able to go back out. People got haircuts, and like the inflation on barber shops was crazy. You used to be able to get a cut for 20. Right now it's like 30 or 40. That's before a tip. What some of my barber friends have told me is they will actually set the price based on if they know that person has a history of tipping or not. So if they know you're not going to tip, they'll charge you $40. But if they know I'm going to tip them 10 or $20, they'll charge me less and make it up that way. So you know, it's kind of odd, but
I'm down with that. Honestly, like if I became like a known non-tipper at like a barber shop and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to take the $10 off the top, I'd be like, fine, you know, charge me what you're going to charge me and I'll pay what you charge me. But like as a customer, I will not pay more than I'm charged. Like that is just something I absolutely don't do ever in any circumstance. So in that of course includes tipping. And that's like a controversial stance because like a lot of like people who work in service will get like mad about their wages. Yeah. And I got to bring up a couple points because like, first of all, I'm going to bring up that I live in California. Yeah. And that's where that's the state that I don't tip in. Is California, where he lives. So in California, restaurant staff or servers, they don't get that like $2.65 or plus whatever. Yeah. That like some states do. Here they get $14. Yes. Minimum plus tips on top of that. It's not like if they get under the 14, it gets made up. It's 14 plus the tips. Yeah. And delivery drivers here get while they're active, they get minimum wage times 120%. So they get I think, hold on, I wrote it down here. Yeah, $16.80 an hour. They got Prop 22. They got Prop 22 out there, so they're actually making more per trip than somebody like me in St. Louis. But go ahead, continue. I feel like you got more there. So yeah. Oh yeah, no. So I just want to like talk that I'm like talking about the perspective of like how wage laws work in my state, because like I've had a lot of people, and I brought this up in the YouTube video I made where I say I live in California, they make this much money plus the tips, which are like optional, and they're like, oh well, don't you know that servers make $2.65 an hour? And I'm like, not where I live, not where I go out to eat, and not where I am not tipping. So it's like I don't really care much for that argument. I think that's a good thing. I think that people in the chat should know this. I might have mentioned this in the YouTube video. I'm not sure if I forgot to, but I was a delivery driver.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I think, I left it out of the video because I didn't want to be, I wanted to make it a little more edgy and make myself more of a jerk. So
hold on. Let me ask you a question. So you've been a delivery driver. What apps did you drive for, or what app?
Originally Postmates back in 2017, I want to say. Yeah. Okay. 2017. And then DoorDash when I was like between jobs for a couple months, and then and I've reactivated my DoorDash a couple times, like during COVID. Like one time my temperature was like 0.01 degrees too high, and I tested negative, but my job didn't let me in anyway, so I like went back on DoorDash. So
let me ask you a follow-up question to that. So you're somebody that in your market, you feel like the living wage is being met for the most part by people that do some service jobs with food, right? Like they're making $14 an hour. You're not going to pay more than the ticket price of the menu, and you're just not going to tip. That's what your philosophy, right? But you're coming from somebody that delivered food. So when you didn't get a tip for driving your own personal automobile, and maybe it was raining outside, and you did a service for somebody that they could have done themselves, how did that make you feel?
Didn't bother me a bit.
So is that because you were actually making like that adjustment pay? Like was Prop 22 around when you did that or not?
Prop 22 wasn't around until I think late 2019. So this was 2 years before Prop 22 that I was delivery driving. Okay. When I didn't get tipped, I wouldn't get mad, because by then I was already hard anti-tipping. I was like open and notorious. I was like, I do not tip. I do not want tipping to exist. I hate that I'm working a job that relies on tips.
Yeah, so that's so ironic to me that you're so against tipping, but you got into a field that probably actually 70% of what I make comes from tips.
Yeah, so I mean, I grabbed that because I was between jobs and there was some like issue with my licensing, and I needed something to fill the space for like a couple months.
Okay.
And that was a job that I could take on for a couple months, and if I quit, it wasn't like, oh, why did you only work here for 2 months, you know? So that's why I did DoorDash. Yeah, like I was doing that, and like by then I was already anti-tipping, and so when I didn't get tipped, I was like, whatever, they didn't tip. Like
that was
it's
it.
their choice.
So you were
Yeah.
okay on Postmates, because I did Postmates a little bit. Okay, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
And they never really showed, like, customers could tip afterwards, from what I remember. With like
Yes.
DoorDash, you can see if somebody kind of tipped before, or if
DoorDash,
they didn't.
you know right away.
You kind of know right away. You know, they hide tips, but anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But with Postmates, you were okay with doing a $3 delivery going 6 miles. That was okay for you?
I didn't like that. I didn't stay on. It was a temporary thing, and I didn't like that. But like my biggest issue, if I didn't make as much money as I wanted to one night, my biggest issue wasn't the individuals who didn't tip me. My biggest issue was I am working for a system that puts me at the mercy of arbitrary payouts, whereas my employer, whose earnings are guaranteed from the service charge, they're fine. So if I am going to be frustrated from lack of pay, I would never, ever, ever turn that frustration towards the people not tipping. It always goes to the company. All the criticism is towards the company, towards the industry, towards the business practice that enables tipping to go on. Because, and I'm probably going to bring this point up multiple times throughout this debate, but tipping inevitably leads to corruption. There is no way around it. The second that you normalize or make tipping customary, it leads to corruption, like on so many levels, like so many levels. And I might have brought this up in the video, but like tipping, like this has been brought up by a lot more people that are like maybe a little less edgy than me, that are like, oh, well, you know, like I tip, but I'm anti-tipping.
Yeah.
But like tipping leads to like discrimination in both directions, discrimination towards like service staff and like discrimination towards customers based on like who they think is going to tip.
Yeah, I've seen that. And I've seen that, and being a manager, having to manage a staff, and I've had to have some pretty serious conversations with people. I don't want to take that table because they're not going to tip me, and a lot of assumptions, and definitely some discrimination. I've had to, you know, so that you bring up an excellent point there.
Yeah.
But let me ask you. So let me ask you a question. You're talking about culture. You're talking about the. Let's talk about the history. Do you know how tipping? What do you know about how tipping started in America?
I don't know a huge amount about the history, and I don't know how much like what I do know is reliable because I haven't really investigated it. I just know that I fucking hate tipping.
Yeah, got it.
As far as I know, it was like a pretty uncommon thing, and it was treated more like almost like a shady kind of under the table bribe sort of thing that like some people did, but it wasn't customary until a bunch of slaves moved north after the Civil War.
Facts, yes.
And and a lot of employers didn't want to like take a chance on like these newly freed black people and like pay them a full wage. So they were like, okay, let's rely on tipping. And if the customer pays you, then you'll get money. And if they don't, then whatever.
It definitely.
Yeah, and if you're mad, then get mad at that guy that didn't tip you. Don't get mad at me, the business owner.
It definitely was a way to have free labor for a lot of people that already had a saloon, a hotel, some some kind of restaurant, and they would take, some people, they took people that were new, not slaves anymore, and said, okay, we'll give you a job, but I'm not going to pay you. You're going to wait these tables, you're going to serve these drinks, and then maybe somebody else will pay you. So it was definitely a way to, in similar ways now, keep a bigger business's costs down, keep their labor costs down, and funnel that cost to the consumer, the customer.
Yeah.
I mean, it came from parts of England. Well-to-do people traveled from America to parts of Europe, and then they came back, and tipping started over the pond. It didn't start in America as far as society goes. And then they came here, and then like, oh, I'm fancy. I'm gonna show you that I'm better than you, and I'm going to tip you. And I think now it's more gratitude. I think it's more appreciation. I think at least that's my perspective. I think it's
that's the thing. It's like now it's customary. Now it's so expected. The wage models are then predicated on the expectation of tipping, and that allows businesses to operate in a corrupt fashion. And that's why it's bad. That's why it has to get destroyed. And so, like you brought up, how this was like an old thing, like that got carried over throughout the years. But there's a lot of new services that are already trying to like make tipping like a customary thing. Like, have you ever used Fiverr for anything?
I have not. No, I've heard of it, never used it.
All right. So for those of you in the chat that aren't aware, Fiverr is like a way to contract like one-off online services. So if you want like video editing done or thumbnails done or whatever, you can go on Fiverr and get somebody to do it for you and deliver it digitally. And then when you're done, there's a little prompt for you to tip. And they do a service charge on the thing, on the service, and they do a service charge on the tip. So Fiverr gets paid twice if you tip, by the way.
Interesting.
And there's a little note there that says tipping is customary. Tip the Fiverr, contractors. And it's like, Fiverr didn't exist until like 7 or 8 years ago.
So that's a really new company. That's a really new,
yeah. So how the fuck is this customary? Like, they created this service and then decided that tipping would be customary so that they could draw people in and be like, oh, well, look at these low prices, and then at the end be like, actually, psych, you got to tip them. And then, like tip them, I don't know, whatever you think is fair. And, oh, by the way, tipping is customary. But they invented that tipping is customary because this is like a brand new thing, less than a decade old.
Yeah.
But they decided for themselves.
So
to bring tipping in.
That's interesting. I don't know much about that company. I've heard of the name. I didn't even know what they did necessarily, but I think it's interesting that your perspective is, your anger or your negativity, your frustration. Thank you. Your frustration around tipping is for the corporations and companies, from what I'm hearing, right? It's not, you don't want to direct it and don't think it should be directed towards the customer. I am kind of split on that. I understand, I'm for small businesses. So I want to propose something to you. So I think if we took away tipping, for example, right? I think what could happen, I'm not an economist, but this is my opinion, just from working in restaurants, doing food delivery. A lot of restaurants right now, most of the restaurants that we see on the road are actually either franchise or they're a local small business. They're not big companies right now, because a lot of, even like Applebee's, McDonald's, they're all franchise. They're not corporate. So they're run by somebody that lives in the community. Maybe they got a few restaurants, some of them are well-to-do, but most of them struggle. Running a restaurant's really hard. So my perspective is, if we held that small business owner responsible for paying $15 an hour to all his wait staff and the bus boys, they wouldn't be able to have as many people employed. They probably wouldn't be able to run their business at all. So I think in some cases, it's actually a positive for a lot of restaurants to actually have the cost come from the consumer, because how are they going? So what I'm saying is, if most of the restaurants, are run by small businesses and they've got, 15 employees or less, including cooks, whatever, we're talking just front of house, how are they going to provide employment for that mom, the dad, whoever, that is trying to wait tables, if they have to charge you more and then you're not going to show up, possibly, right? You're not going to go to that restaurant as often if the menu prices are too high. And then you can decide to tip or not. It's not mandatory in restaurants. Most of the time it's not, unless it's a party of 8 or more, or, some things like that. But most restaurants do not require mandatory tipping. They just don't. The gig apps don't require mandatory tipping. You can always back it out. But what do you say to the small business guy that I think would actually have to employ less people? And we need to keep people employed, don't you think?
I mean, they're getting the money out of people one way or the other. If they're getting the extra money out of the tips or getting the extra money out of the menu prices, they're getting the money out of them. So you can't say that people won't come to not, because they don't want to pay this amount of money, and then charge them that same amount of money through the tipping. Like, they're still getting the money out of the people. The people are still apparently willing to pay that amount of money. So basically what you're saying here is the restaurant can't go on without using deceptive pricing practices. And if a restaurant relies on deceptive pricing practices of being like, oh, you're going to pay this much, psych, you actually owe me this much more, then whatever.
Well, I'm not saying deceptive. What I'm saying is,
a small business is still a business. As a business, you are responsible for paying your employees. You're responsible for pricing, what you need to cover your overhead, including labor.
Yes.
like a business is a business, like big or small. Like I don't care if you're like Fortune 500 or mom and pop. Like you still have to, price your things to cover overhead. You still have to manage your own payroll. Like you are a business, one way or the other.
That's true. This is what I would say to that, and I would disagree with you adamantly. Like I said, most restaurants, greater than 50%, it's close to 60% of restaurants in this country are franchise or small business. They're not corporation. So tomorrow, if we made it mandatory, if the government stepped in, which this would be horrible, but we're playing, we're having fun here. Government steps in saying, you know what, across the nation, tipping is no longer a thing. We're banishing it. You cannot tip. All the employees, all the employers, the small business owners that have restaurants, you need to pay all your workers $20 an hour. If that happened tomorrow, millions of people would be out of work because the restaurants would close down.
I mean, if they had to raise the menu prices, because people apparently are willing to pay that much,
Well, they did it in California. Some restaurants about 5 years ago started this no tip thing. They had on the menu. It was about 20 or so in California, right? Some casinos even started it, and they had on the menu, tipping isn't a thing here. We, we pay our people a fair wage, and it didn't work. It didn't last. Some of the restaurants reverted back.
Don't last one way or the other.
True.
So I don't know, with that small amount of things, I don't know if you could say that would destroy the industry because some startup restaurants didn't end up working. And I wish I would have got word of that, or if there was one in my area, I would have gone just to support to be like, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
let's go and not tip and not feel bad about it.
Well, I think it's interesting. And a lot of people that think like you, I think it was refreshing for some people because they said, you know what? I'm going to go to this steakhouse. And yesterday the steak was $30, right? And then maybe I tipped, maybe I didn't. Now, the next week, that steak was $40. But somebody like you'll still pay the $40, right?
Yeah, I would. Straight up, I would, especially because I don't go out to eat that often in the first place, so it's kind of a splurge for me either way. So if if they said it's $40 for this steak that otherwise was $30, I'd be like, yeah. And then it's and don't worry about it. Don't worry about the tips. We got this covered. You don't have to be Mr. Pink today. You don't have to go on one of your Steve Buscemi rants today. I'd be like, great. It's worth it for me to not have to be Steve Buscemi for one day.
Yeah.
I'd be in fast. And the thing is though, people say this is impossible or to uphold as a wage model, but in Europe now, tipping is not really a thing at all. The closest thing to tipping you get there is sometimes people would leave the change behind just out of convenience because they don't want to carry coins in their pockets.
Very true. Actually, in some parts of Europe, I've never been. I've only heard from other people that have gone. The service staff sometimes tip the actual customers as a gesture of thank you for coming to my country. Thank you. It's yes. No.
That's never happened to me.
No.
I'm from Europe, by the way. I'm from Spain.
No, I've heard. It doesn't happen often, but they'll have that particular currency, and they'll give them that as a kind gesture. That's never happened where a waitress gave you a coin from that country.
No, that
interesting.
Sounds like a tourist thing. I don't
it could be. No, I think it could.
A tourist thing.
It could be a touristy thing, but so what part of? So let me ask you another question. So I have one on here. Let's see. Okay. So we talked about, I think, in my opinion, if tomorrow that happened, I think the small businesses would suffer. Small businesses employ millions of people. I think it would be bad. It's my opinion. But I do think we have to. And I want to, what's your opinion on this? What's your viewpoints? What do you think? If you could change it, what would you do? How do we hold the corporations, the companies, the small business owner? How do we hold them accountable for paying 100% of the wages for their employees to where you don't have to pay it? How do we do that? Where does that start?
The first thing I would do, and this would be the easiest thing to do, is all the states, federally, they need to get rid of that fucking bullshit law where it's legal for a restaurant to pay $2.65 an hour. They need to cut that shit yesterday. They need to get the fuck rid of that. They need to make that illegal. Minimum wage is minimum wage. Straight up. You have to pay the minimum wage, and that's all there is to it. But that's that brings me back to what I said before, which is tipping inevitably leads to corruption. The fact that they have that $2.65 an hour minimum thing in the states where that exists, like Indiana, Minnesota, the places. I think Minnesota.
It's in some smaller. Yeah. In St. Louis, I think it's like up to $4 now. It goes up like a nickel every 2 years, something stupid like that. Yeah.
That's a result of tipping becoming customary, and tipping always leads to corruption. And like, I think like the law should step in there, like at a federal level, and be like, no, this law where you can pay them like this extraordinarily small amount of money, like, and then build the rest off of tips. Like, they got to just fucking axe that, say minimum wage is minimum wage. I do not care like what field of work you're in, like minimum wage is minimum wage. Just like get rid of that quick. Like that'd be the first thing I'd do. And then like I think that would go by with no controversy. Like I don't think anybody would be like, no, we need to keep paying servers $2.60 an hour. Like
I think I agree. I agree with that. What about food delivery? You said you did food delivery. So what about the man, woman, whatever, college student, senior citizen, retired, trying to just make some extra money, and it's snowing outside? And they deliver you a pizza that you really don't need. It's not essential. 99% of what we deliver is not essential. I think it's a luxury service, in my opinion. Nobody needs McDonald's chicken McNuggets at midnight. Nobody. Okay. So what do and it's snowing outside, and somebody's bringing you, they're waiting in the McDonald's line. They're trucking through the snow, and they're bringing you to McDonald's. You don't think it's kind of you to give that person a few dollars? Now, let's not talk about companies. Let's not talk about.
Let's say like it's kind. You could say that it's kind. You could argue that that's totally reasonable to say that.
Yeah.
But by giving them the money, I am taking from my wallet and paying into a system that I believe leads to corruption.
So you think me bringing you McDonald's at midnight is a corrupt act?
No. Me paying into the tipping system
is corrupt.
Corruption. Like I am contributing financially at my expense to a corrupt system by tipping. And like I get that it's like you say like it's a luxury service. You know, like a lot of things are luxury services. Like buying a gold chain is a luxury service, but like the jewelers don't rely on tips. Like be it a luxury or not.
Well, I will say this. Let me stop you there. Yeah. Let me stop you there. So we'll bring it back to I'll give you the barber scenario or the food delivery. Yeah. If you don't tip, you're probably getting cold food, maybe, or you're not getting great service. And whatever, right? You're probably getting cold food, right? Your chicken McNuggets might be cold. Yeah. If you don't tip that barber and you go into his shop on a Saturday, you might sit there for 4 hours, right? But if you tip that guy, you might only be there for 30 minutes. Do you not think that tipping can actually save you time and actually save you money? Right?
I mean, like if they're like if it's about saving time and saving money, like if it's about being treated preferentially because I tipped, like I also think that's also another form of corruption that is as a result of tipping. And like I get like some people are going to retaliate. Most service workers aren't going to retaliate. Like a lot of people say like, oh, like the waitress is going to spit in your food. Like they don't really do that. Like most people aren't that vindictive. But if someone's going to retaliate and like make me sit a little longer or whatever, then like fine, whatever, I'll take it, because like I'm so solid in the fact that like I think that the wages of an employee are the responsibility of an employer 100% of the time, 100% of the way, no matter what the job is. So like if they're gonna like try and mess with me by like bringing me cold food or this, that, and the other, then like
okay,
fine.
So if you think that, I think DoorDash, should the base pay be more? Should they do more things for long trip distances? Absolutely.
I like what California does with Prop 22.
Yeah.
The 120% minimum wage while you're active. Like I think that's a good step forward, but it's never gonna like fully heal until like tipping is gone. And like this is where my point of view starts to piss people off, because there are times where I'll almost win people over, and then they'll like snap and turn around and be like, wait, no, because like I say, like the one way to stop tipping culture, and like nobody wants to admit it, the only way to stop tipping culture is to stop tipping. And like that's what makes like people go like, oh, wait a minute.
I'll say this. If you're saying you're talking about these companies paying more, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So if DoorDash, this is my opinion, I don't have any factual data. Okay. If DoorDash paid all the drivers $15 an hour, mm-hmm, there'd actually be less people employed making money doing side hustle, and you, when you needed it, might not have been able to get on the platform when you needed it for a couple months. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's a complex one, because like I did like the low entry level, that it took. And like I don't know about like per hour, but like the deal of it coming like per order based on the supply and demand of the orders. There's a way to make that work without tipping, and that's just like the fact that DoorDash uses tips is just that it is culturally inherited this practice of tipping. But like they're a business, they're operated by tens of millions of dollars of venture capital. There are businessmen there that like run numbers day in and day out. Like I'm sure they could figure something out if like the pressure was on them. And I'm sure that they could continue as, an independent contractor service with or without tipping, because there's other jobs that operate, independent contractor style that don't rely on tipping, that is also made work. Like this is going to be a weird ass example, but like mystery shopping is mostly operated by independent contractors, and there's no tipping involved because they have to be anonymous, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible for there to be tipping, but they make it work.
Yeah, I think that's a good. That's a good one. I think. What do you say to if people just tell you sometimes, right? Let's say they say, "Well, hold up, like, do you ever feel bad about not leaving a tip?" Let's say you go to a restaurant, you got good service from somebody that they got your order right, they were kind, they were friendly. You spilled a drink, they cleaned it up right away, and you still don't tip that person.
Sometimes I do feel bad.
I mean, let me ask you this. Have you ever tipped in your entire life? Have you ever given a tip for any service at all?
Yes, I have, actually. And when I feel bad when I give tips because I'm like, fuck, I was a hypocrite. Because I'm
well, okay, so let me ask you a follow-up. What in those times that you tipped, why did you tip? Was it because you were with people and you felt pressure, or because you got good service and you were like, oh my God, I have to leave them a tip? What was the reason from one case to the next that you did or didn't?
Let me think. Shit. I don't know. It's usually arbitrary. Usually, I think it's pressure. I think it's social pressure. Honestly, like if I'm with a group of a bunch of people that are standing over my shoulder and I want to like save myself the argument, because I don't do this in secret. Like I'm very, very open about this.
It's like it's kind of I kind of feel like it's your thing. Like it's like I'm gonna, and you'll talk to anybody about it that wants to talk about it. So let me ask you another question. Are you married?
Don't tell her. Almost. Don't tell her though.
So when you okay, cool. When you were dating, when you go on a date, a lot of guys pay in the beginning, right? It's customary, right? Like, would you say that should women pay? Like, you're against these social norms. Did you pay on the first couple dates? Did you tip on those dates? What would you do in those situations?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend, we don't really have like a rule, like, oh, like I'm the one who pays, every time. Like sometimes she'll pay when she feels like it. I'll pay when I feel like it.
Yeah, that's normal, I think. Yeah.
There've been a couple times where we like split it. But it's just like somebody will reach for their wallet, and like it's not like I keep score of who's paying more often than the other. I think like I pay slightly more often than she does. But whatever.
When you guys were first dating, when you'd go out to eat, because that's what you do. When you date people, you go out to dinner, right? Like that's just what we do in America, right? You do a picnic one day, you do a Netflix and chill, you do this, you do that, you go to a baseball game, but it's all you're spending money, right? So when that bill came, did you tip in those times just to kind of like look cool, or did you still not tip and she knew that from the beginning?
No, she knows. Like she knew from the outset. Like I'm so notorious about this. But there have been times where this is like before I was dating my current girlfriend. I was dating a girl who I think she'd been a waitress and she'd been a bartender. I think we were on a date and I didn't tip the bartender, and she leans over and she sees that I didn't tip the bartender, and like I end up having my Mr. Pink moment with her later on. And I don't think I changed her mind about it. She's pretty steadfast about you have to like not only tip but like tip extra.
Yeah.
But like after I was done with that date, like she's a sweet girl. I'm not like ragging on her. Like it didn't work out with us. Not over the tipping thing. It just didn't work out.
I mean, it might have been over that. It might have been. You don't know.
No, I didn't like her that much after I got to know her. But she's a good girl. It just wouldn't have worked. Not over the tipping thing though. I swear. But so I was thinking about that after, because like I paid for the drinks that night, and I was like, well, I didn't tip, but she didn't tip either. She was mad at me for not tipping, but I'm like, you tipped exactly as much as I did, which is zero.
Interesting.
So like I think it's weird when like girls will go on a date and pay for nothing and then like kind of judge when you don't tip, because it's like, well, you didn't tip either. So
well, but I think we're talking about social norms and things that are we're told to do this and whatever and corruption. Like I think some women expect a man to tip and pay, right?
yeah,
I think nowadays I think it's shifting. I think more women pick up, but it's an old cliche kind of deal. Like you go, I think now it's like whoever asked the person out should go, should probably pay. But anyways, I think it's interesting though. Let's get back to you said sometimes you do tip and you feel like a hypocrite. Like, are you at this point in your life? Are you never going to tip again ever? So if you
once
get
in a while, I just get hit by the mood, and it's usually when there's like a bunch of people around, and I'm like, I don't want to have this conversation again, and I'm just like, whatever, I'll scribble something down and like tip a little bit.
Okay.
The closest thing, I think, the only place where I've ever tipped consistently is the all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue.
Okay, so why tip there, but not tip the
Honestly,
pizza guy?
I can't give like a rational reason why I tip there. I can't. Like, there's no rational reason, and I should not tip ever because that's like supposed to be my thing where I'm like, I don't tip.
Yeah.
I never tip. But like maybe like 5% of the time, like the mood will strike me, and then after I'm done tipping, I'm like, fuck, I tipped.
I mean, I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to hear you admit that sometimes you do. So I think you have a heart in there somewhere. I just, it's there. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not heartless, but
I'm just messing with you, man.
But I still want them to like, make it, like I want, people who work jobs to be able to pay their bills with their job. But I'm just saying, like, the payment for your job should come from your employer. Like, you shouldn't use this practice that, leads to corruption. And actually, I had a couple notes in here, if you don't mind. Let's see, where was I going? Let's see. Oh, yeah. This is an interesting statistic that you might know this. I'm not sure, but there's differences in tipping from generation to generation. It's going downhill. And it might be due to like lower wages with younger generations, or it might be due to like a shifting perspective on tipping culture. But like boomers, like dollar per dollar tip more than Generation X. Generation X tips less than boomers. Millennials tip less than Generation X, and like Generation Z tips the least. Like,
I think because they believe strongly against Wall Street and the big companies. And they believe, the younger generation believes like a living fair wage, and I shouldn't have to. I think there's some numbers to back that up.
I don't know what the reason is, but like, yeah, they're the people who neglect to tip the most. And I don't know if it's from an ideological stance where they're like, oh, like we got to put pressure on the companies, through the workers. But the thing is that like the workers, like if they're ever frustrated about a lack of wages, the aggression always gets turned on the customer 100% of the time, because I've seen so many people, prompted or unprompted, get pissed at customers who are low tippers or no tippers, and be like, fuck this guy, take his photo. Like, I've seen people in the comments of my YouTube video being like, your face has been noted. If you ever come in my restaurant, I'm gonna shit in your dinner. And I don't live in Montana. You'll never see me
I think those are extreme cases. People are too emotional, but I think I think it's like,
well, like, it's fine to be emotional about it. The thing is that the aggression is always turned towards the customer, never towards the business. Because like I've seen people be like, well, I get paid $2.60 an hour for my base wages, so fuck you if you don't tip me. And it's like, listen, if you get paid $2.60 an hour for your base wages, the scandal is not that random Joe number 35 didn't tip you. The scandal is that your boss is paying you $2.60 an hour. That is the scandal. 100%. Whatever random dude giving you like a cheap tip or no tip, like that is not the person who has like put you in this situation. And that is not the person responsible. And if you're going to get aggressive and you're going to get frustrated about your lack of wages, if you're going to turn that aggression in any direction, you got to turn it up to your boss, not out to like other customers. Like, and that's like, you have to. And I'm not like some fucking like revolutionary or anything, like, but I'm just saying, like, if any issue with wages, like they've like, it's the biggest fucking brainwash in history. To like say like, hey, you're pissed about your wages. Turn that against the people at the restaurant. Turn that against the customer that already paid me. Don't turn it against me. And like people will also, and like sometimes they'll do that thing. Like you even brought this up, but they'll be like, oh well, I'm just a little small business. I'm just a little franchise owner. Like, don't get mad at me. I'm just a small business. I'm not responsible. Get mad at that guy who didn't tip you, or get mad at that guy who dropped the $2 tip.
Well, yeah, but if we I think we have to look at the small business. Small businesses employ a lot of people, and part of the reason they can do that is they can go with the social norms and say, yeah, I am going to anticipate my customers tipping my employees. I'm going to pay them, and I'll also do benefits for them.
Like I said, a business is a business. Small business, big business. You have to manage your payroll. You have to manage your pricing. Big or small, like that is your responsibility. And if you can't do that, then you can't run a business. Like, so that's just how it is.
So then there's going to be hundreds of thousands of business that won't be able to be open, and a lot of people will be out of work.
Because, like, I think they could adapt because people have said this about a lot of things. Like even like back to slavery, like when you know like slaves were first getting released or like first getting like taken back on as like paid workers. You know, people were saying like the economy will collapse. All of these, like all the supply chains of the cotton and indigo and tobacco industries and sugar industries, they're all going to crash. No one's going to be able to pay. Like everything's going to fall to pieces because like we like rely on this wage model so much. And then slavery got abolished and they adapted. You know, like I'm sure they went through some growing pains. I'm sure some companies had to like deal with a lot of like hard stuff, but like you're a businessman. Like go do some businessman shit. Like
I think you're being a little harsh. I think I mean, when you have a small business, that's a lot of work. I mean, you are crunching the numbers. You are looking at your food cost, your labor, and a lot of these restaurants, the margins are so thin. My point is, if they had to pay more or started to pay more, they would go under. A lot of them would go under, and then some of them could adapt, but then a lot of people would then be out of work, right? So then you got people out of work. They're struggling even more. Maybe they can't pay their rent. The people that do these kind of work, the people that do DoorDash, the people that wait tables, these aren't affluent people. These are lower to middle class people that are doing this work, right? So I think we're putting then the stress on the person that's just trying to give you McDonald's or bring you a plate of hamburgers and fries. Like I think there's nothing wrong with being kind to somebody for doing a service for us. And yeah, is there some social norms? Is there some corruption there? Yeah, maybe on a small level. I don't think it's a lot, but I think it's if we were to get rid of it, I think it would be crippling to the economy. It would literally, the unemployment rate would go through the roof, crime would go up, people would be, these things would happen because businesses would go under. That's my opinion. But so let me ask you this. Let me ask you one more thing, kind of in closing. Do you think that history shows us with companies and even tipping, things evolve and change, right? And it's usually big, maybe something like a pandemic or some kind of crisis happens and it changes and evolves things. How people spend money, how they consume information, things like that, how they look at their own pocketbook. Do you think tipping in America will ever get to the place to where like it is in Europe?
I think it will. And I think it's going to be driven primarily by, each successive generation tipping less to the point that like it's going to reach a critical point where it's just, is my audio coming through? It sounds good.
Yeah, no, you're good.
All right, cool. So I think as a result of each, consecutive generation tipping less, it's going to come to a critical point where it's just no longer going to be viable. And that, killing that viability is what's going to make workers kind of like start to turn around and be like, hey, wait a minute, like, what the fuck? Like, we have to do something about this. And like, I think at some point, like there will be either a just free market shift in how the businesses operate, or whichever comes first, either that, just like a shift in just how businesses work, or B, like government intervention stepping in and like taking away the stuff that makes this viable in the first place. Like that a super fucked up law, in those states where they can pay them like $2 and whatever cents an hour, like stuff like that is going to start, getting access, like, cause it's like a gradual change. Like nobody's going to stop. It's not like everyone's going to stop tipping tomorrow, but every generation tips less. And,
yeah, I mean, so what you're talking, if you're talking generations, you're talking 100 years. Then we're not going to be. We're not going to.
20 years. It's already happening now because, like, by the time the Gen Zers that are already used to not tipping, like, by the time they're 30, 40, like, by then they'll eroded this. And I think, like, you're going to see, it's going to be gradual, but you're going to see stuff like in California, like Prop 22, stuff like that will, start to grow. And, like, we went from, like, delivery driving apps not existing to having Prop 22 over the course of like what, 7 years?
Yeah, short amount of time. But even with Prop 22, the drivers are still people are still tipping. The customer.
Prop 22, well, yeah, but Prop 22 is the start of that because like Prop 22 is something that has made tipping less necessary.
I think Prop 22. I think Prop 22 just has a minority of gig workers in a very densely populated city.
Yeah.
They're just making more than me. I think that's the only difference. They're just making more. I don't think I don't think the customers are tipping. I don't think the customers are informed and educated and saying, "Oh, there's Prop 22. I don't have to tip." I think that's less than.
Don't know because like I bring this up when I say I don't tip, like, and I barely ever get delivery, like food delivery anyway. I get it like once a year.
Yeah.
If even.
Yeah.
But like I'll bring this up. Well, people will be like, "Oh, well, you don't tip restaurant servers for whatever reason." Like, what about delivery drivers? And I'll bring up Prop 22, and 90% of the time, regular customers, they don't even know that it exists.
They don't. I've talked about this on this channel. We as a community talk about it because we live it. But the consumers, they don't. They could care less. They don't know about it.
Yeah.
They might see a news story, but there's so much information out there. Like people aren't paying attention to that because it doesn't affect them day to day, right? When we get in our cars, and when you got in your car, it affects your day to day for that moment, for that month or two, whatever. But hey, man, I appreciate you coming on. I think this was fun.
Sure. Yeah, this is a good debate.
We went a little long, but I think that's good. It was flowing.
We had a good talk.
Yeah.
In the comments, they're probably screaming at me in the comments.
Listen, man, but you knew that was going to happen. You knew that was going to happen. I give you big cheers, big kudos for you coming on this channel, man. Appreciate the support and you coming on. If there's anything I can do for you, you got my number, so you definitely reach out. And I appreciate you coming on the show, man.
All right, yeah, good talk.
Yeah, you too, man.
Good to see your show.
Yeah, talk to you later, man. Thank you. All right, so that was longer than anticipated, but I think we got some good nuggets there. I think he made some good points. I want to read the chat here just for a little bit. I know you guys there's a lot of people here tonight, so that's a cool thing. Thank you for that. But I think he made some good points, and we're going to take some calls here in about 5 minutes or so. Okay, so stick with me. I want to talk a little bit, but we're definitely going to take some calls. I think you guys got a lot to say, and I want to hear both sides. I think there's some value and some knowledge to what he's saying, but ultimately, listen, you got to tip. You don't have to tip. You should tip because you're a kind person and you appreciate somebody doing something for you that you could do on your own. Or you should tip your barber because you want to get fast, prompt service. If I want to get a haircut tomorrow and I'm a new client, they don't know me, and they got 5 guys coming in that are good tipping customers, I'm going to sit in that barber shop for 4 hours. And I should, because he doesn't know me, right? So you're also tipping for convenience, kindness. You're tipping for time. I value my time, as you guys know, more than anything else. I value time more than money, more than possessions. I'm a very humble man. I live within my means. If I'm going to get a haircut, I don't want to wait 4 hours. I'll give that guy $20 so I can only be there for 1 hour because I'm saving 3 hours and I value my time. Does that make sense to any of you guys? I don't know. So I think tipping is about that for me. It's about respect. It's about understanding somebody's doing this job to reach a goal because they're putting themselves through school. They're a single mom. They got into this job because of pandemic and they were furloughed or laid off and they got to make the ends meet. That's how many of us got into this work, right? So I think as an American, as a community, we should know that. And we should show kindness and give somebody a few dollars because they're driving their car. It's snowing, it's raining, they waited in McDonald's line. I think kindness goes a long way. And so for me, when I talk about tipping, no tip, no trip, that's why. And I think consumers should show a tip of kindness. And actually, it will help them because they'll get the food quicker. They'll get the haircut quicker. I think it's a very basic human-to-human interaction of respect. And I'm doing something for you, and I'm going to show my gratitude, and I'm going to give this to you. And I know that I'll probably get better service. Now, we can debate about whether that should be happening or not, but that's my viewpoint on it. And I know it's going to be tilted because I've worked in restaurants and I deliver food and I have a YouTube channel and I'm all about no tip, no trip. So I understand my perspective is going to be very different than somebody that's never worked the apps or only worked them like he did for a couple months because he had to. But like some of the points I made to him, I think if the gig apps had to pay us, if Prop 22 was in every state, there'd be less drivers. The gig apps wouldn't, there'd be less drivers, there'd be less gig apps. That means less people on the road making money, betting on themselves and using this as a side hustle. More people will be unemployed. If restaurants, if my local pizza joint that pays the waitress and the wait staff $4 an hour, okay, which whatever, okay, I don't know his books, but if he had to pay them $15 an hour, right, he probably wouldn't be able to grow his business, maybe open up a second shop and employ another 20 people, right? So if we take these small businesses, and most restaurants are small businesses and franchises, and if we have them paying $15 an hour, I think it could actually do a negative effect for unemployment and people that are trying to have jobs. I don't know. I'm not an economist and I'm not a small business owner in that regard. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? So in a little bit, we'll take, I'm going to put the phone number here. I want you to text in what you want to talk about, and I will possibly call you. And we also have the other topics we talked about as well. But I thought it was a good conversation. That's the number you want to text in right there. Let's look at the chat, see what's going on. We got a lot of people in here. It's fun. I appreciate it. This is different kind of live, but I think it's cool. All right, I'm not gonna be able to read all these comments, guys. But I had a poll that I put up. The poll that I put up was, does our current tipping culture in America need to change? ? And how many votes do we have? It doesn't say how many votes. Oh, 276 people. Yes, 68% of 277. So let me do the math on that. Said yes, it should change. Does our current tipping culture in America need to change? 32% said no. So that's actually reversed from what I thought it would be based on this channel, but very interesting information. I like that. Keep voting on that, guys. So let's look at the chat and see what you guys got going on here. Thank you for the donations, guys, for whoever did. I think that was Adam was the last one. If I missed one, I'm sorry. Nova Dasher, this guy just wants to be edgy. That's all. Get ready, humidity tips sometimes. Nova, you might, some people, you know, I have a little bit of that in me too. There's some things I like to go against the norm because I believe them, but also it's actually good to feel like, you know what? No, I'm not going to be like everybody else. I think a lot of us psychology, like our psyche is made up like that, right? I think you're on to something there. I'm not saying that's his reasoning, but I think there's some validity to that. Let's talk delivery. OGig says, let's talk delivery. I don't know how far up this was. William Anderson. I don't think he's being harsh. I think he's being real. Yeah, I thought he was a great conversation. Michael Hubner, minimum wage is a law created by labor unions. Yeah. A couple of laughter. It's easy said than done. If he was the one in a position of business, it would be different. This is true. Let me go to some current comments. I think I was too far up. Eric, Pedro, what up? What up? And great stream. Thank you. It was fun, man. I want to do different things for you guys. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good spot to start reading. Roy says, if you choose to do a job where you have to survive by getting tips, you have to take the bad with the good. I agree with that. We know what we're getting ourselves into. And if you can't make money doing it, everybody's hiring. Get a W-2. Antonio Diaz, people do a lot of things to food that goes to discussing people. Eyewitness. Antonio, I've never seen, I worked in restaurants, man, almost 18 years. I've never seen with my eyes somebody do something to a drink or food because the customer was rude. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I've never seen it. Now, we'll go in the back of house and talk about table 12 all day long, how they are Karen or how they're rude or whatever, but I've never seen anybody do something to food. I think that's very, very, very extreme, unique cases. Frank, look, people, if there were manufacturing jobs for people in this country, then the jobs like restaurants and grocery stores would not need to be full-time jobs. Yeah, manufacturing's not like it was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s, man. Car manufacturing, plant jobs is just not a thing anymore. And that's a whole nother stream. I could talk about that for hours, but let's stay on topic. Lucinda Phillips, has anyone delivered an order and the customer had a cooler or basket sitting out with snacks? Yes, I did 2 times this week. I saw that. And drinks for the delivery people, UPS bags. It was so cool. I saw it twice. It had been a few months, but I saw it twice this week, Lucinda. They had water and some like candies. I didn't take anything, but it was really cool. I think that's a kind human being. We need more of that. We need a little bit more of that. That's extremely rare, but it's very nice. There needs to be a change. Everyday jam. There needs to be a change. But I don't agree with the way he wants it to be changed. I think there's a different way to go about it. I think there could be too. I don't have enough knowledge of to say what the fix would be. I really don't know. Angela Davidson Edwards. I have 5 years experience. Should I make the same wage as a newer driver if there were no tips? Interesting perspective. So you're talking about if you have seniority on the gig app, should you make more? I don't necessarily agree with that. I think people should make money based on skill level. That's my opinion. I think you are what you put out there, and you are your worth. And I think, there are some people that have worked a job for 5 years and they suck and they feel like they should make the same as me. But I could go into a lot of places right now and probably outperform them. And I think performance is what you should be paid on. That's my opinion. All right. Let's see. La, la, la. La, la, la. All right. So we're going to take a few calls. Let's check the tag. I'm going to put the number in, text what you want to talk about. The first topic is, what do you guys think about that stream? Comments about that. Second topic, do you think running 4 active apps at one time actually makes you less money than if you only have 2 or 3? Some people would say it makes you less by $5.50. And have you seen any changes, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever? What are you seeing in your market for the holiday season that we're in right now? What's going on with that? So let's check the text. Oh, the text line is blown up. All right, hold up here. Give me a minute to catch up, y'all. All right, that was that one there. Appreciate the 247 here. I don't think I've ever had 248 people in here. Thank you very much. Very humbling. Thank you very, very much. Don't forget the thumbs up button. Tipping 1, 2, 3. All right, let's see. This phone's blowing up, man. I got it. All right, hold on. I'm gonna do a few here, guys. Hold up. I am not a waiter or a waitress. I'm a delivery driver, and the tips need to reflect the distance from your house to the restaurant. Okay. I have some views on the non-tippers I would like to share with you. You guys don't touch on. Okay, hold on. What's this one? Ryan used to work DoorDash, work Instacart, but I did it for fun on the side. I have a regular job, maybe unpopular opinion, but I believe people need to focus more on what they can do while they are in their car to better themselves / make money while they wait for good orders to come in. Ooh, Ryan, I like that. We're going to have to get you on here if you got time. Let's talk about app issues. I don't know if we're going to do that tonight. Hey, I want to chat. Topic 1, part 2, what to do with the food. Okay, hold up. I think that guy was. No, I don't think he was. Okay. I got Flex in here. I want to get him. I'm going to get Mad Dash in here, and then Ryan, and then we'll pick somebody else. So stay with me, guys. We're at 1:22. This stream is probably going to be 3 hours tonight. So if you got time, I got time. All right. Let's see if these guys are ready. 1 second here. 1 second. So put in the chat, talk. I'm sure you guys probably did. What are some points that he made that you thought were good? I think holding the big companies accountable for their payroll more. I think that's a good thing. The history of tipping and how it started in this country, definitely shady. There's some corruption there, taking advantage of people, right? Those things aren't good, right? Those things are not good. Let's see. My video today had to do with multi-apping. Dashing Grandpa, I started watching a video and then I was watching the game and my daughter was crying. So I had to tend to her. So I'm going to finish watching it later, but I definitely caught the first couple minutes of that. So, all right, let's get Flex on the line real quick. For those of you that know, this is Mr. Flex. He has a YouTube channel. We're going to get him on the phone line here. Flex, what's up, man? Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, let me just mute that right here.
No problem, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like he's just blaming everything on the companies, just not to tip. Everything is an excuse. There's the company corruption companies. But at the same time, not you, but the gentleman, he knows that the gentleman that's bringing them or the woman that's bringing them food is not getting paid what she's supposed to get paid. And
excellent point.
Depending on the service that the person provided, you should at least $5-10. You could dish it out. It's no big deal to you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And just because he knows more than the other, you know what I mean. That shouldn't be okay not to tip and to tell everybody else, hey, you probably shouldn't be tipping. Which, I mean, I'm not a rich person. I don't like to, throw out money, you know what I mean? But it's just, how do you say it? It's a good deed. Like, if you just walk away, they're going to be talking behind, like, hey, that guy did not tip us.
Oh, for sure. It happens all the time. And I think you bring up a really good point, Flex, about him knowing that. So he's mad at the companies, but he knows the companies aren't paying. He knows they're paying them $2, but he still doesn't tip. So isn't that really disrespectful? I mean, like he knows that they're being taken advantage of, but he still chooses to go somewhere and make the decision not to tip. Sometimes I think that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
And like he said, when he's with his friends, and that's the only time he tips, just because. So you know what I mean? Like they don't point the finger at him, like, hey, don't be a douchebag, bro. Just, you know what I mean? Like tip just like us. That's why he says, you know what I mean? Like when I'm with a bunch of people, I just throw something out there.
Yeah.
So no one gives me shit.
Right.
That shit. It should not be like that.
Yeah.
It should not be like that.
Yeah, I think it's like, when I eat out often. I mean, I eat out more than I like to admit, and I typically, I'm on a tip because I know what it's like. I've done that job. I have a level of respect for somebody bringing me food, hustling, doing all this stuff for me that I can do myself. Like I appreciate it, and I tip at certain places that I go frequently because I know I'm going to get good service, and I walk in and they take care of me. And there's a level of like, I feel good about that. So some of the reasons that I tip can be selfish. I think some people, because we want to be taken care of quickly. And that's a selfish thing. I don't want to wait. So if I throw them a really good tip at this local bar, I know I'm going to get a free drink probably. I'm actually, I'm going to get my drink's never going to be empty and I'm getting better service. So I think there's something to be said for tipping as a whole.
Yeah, and like there's difference. Like a company like DoorDash and your local restaurant, it's two different things.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Because for instance, like DoorDash, they could do anything they want with their, with the base bid. It could be $2.50 one day, and the next week it's gonna be $7-8. Just never know. They could do whatever they want.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and. You know what I mean? Like we know when somebody doesn't tip us. We know when somebody will tip us.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. And when he's saying like, oh, if I'm delivering food and somebody didn't tip me, it's okay for him. I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean,
I don't think he's a top dasher. You know what I mean? If he's
dashing,
I don't think he's a top dasher.
And I don't think he did it that long. And he talked about Postmates, and we know Postmates, at least from my experience and what I've heard, they don't. Like the customer tips you after. So like I did Postmates, I'd see like $2, $3, $4 orders. I'd take them because I didn't know any better. And then sometimes you got to tip. Most of the time, actually, I did. But still, it's like you're gambling out there. You know what I mean? Like it's like ridiculous.
I was saying in the chat before, I was saying, if he was to run a business, would he not accept tips from customers?
Right.
I mean,
It's Can you imagine? I mean, it was kind of ironic. And he said he was, he hypocrite himself, but like, he's done that. He's worked apps where he got tips. He's so against it as a society, but then he was taking tips. So that's kind of odd,
Yeah, I think it was a wrong decision for him to go over this kind of a topic.
Yeah.
Not to tip, because that's just wrong in every way. Just on anything, he doesn't want to tip on anything. I mean, you're kind of like forcing him to say like, when did you ever tip?
Yeah, I got it out of him though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just one person. There's not many people like that.
I don't think there are. Hey man, I appreciate
a lot more people that would actually tip and over tip.
Oh, I believe so. I appreciate you watching and taking my call, man. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
You got it, Pedro. I'll talk to you later.
All right, man. All right, let's take the next one. Thank you, Mr. Flex. Appreciate you. Let's I want to do Mad Dash real quick because I know he says he's got to go to bed. So hold on. Where is it at? Oh, there it is. Boom, 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 boom. Keep sending those texts in, guys. I'm gonna take some calls tonight. We're not gonna. Might be a long night. We still got some time. Let's read this chat. How does it? Is the lighting too dark? Does it need to be? I don't know. When I look back in the replay, I kind of like how it looks. But what do you guys think? All right. Let's see here. Somebody put it in the chat. Is it too dark? Is it too bright? Is the light hitting me? Not good. Give me. I want to. Before I call him, I want some lighting. Is fine. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else got an opinion on it? A little more light. Okay. Good, Slav. Okay. It's so. Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna check. I'm gonna try something different next week, possibly. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you. Okay. So let's take this call right quick. Yeah.
What's up, Pedro?
What's up, man? How you doing today, brother?
Doing good.
Hey, first things first. Colts, man. They look good. They look good.
If we can make a run, we got 2 big games. Tom Brady's always got our number.
Yeah, but you're only going to see him in the Super Bowl, so you don't have to worry about him. You know what I'm saying?
He always finds a way.
Yeah, he does. So what? I know your week you said was pretty good. What do you want to talk about tonight, my friend?
Everything's good, man. I know we'll talk about the interview here.
Debate. Okay.
It's just back to the origins after the Civil War. Tipping was a way to take advantage of people.
It was. It was.
So he's against the establishment and people taking advantage of it. But it's almost like when the government subsidizes something, and they subsidize it. Restaurants are subsidized by tips.
Mm-hmm.
So when the government tries to withdraw and stop spending taxpayer money on subsidizing a certain industry, you're going to have some problems. It's going to have some problems. So he has a valid point, but the house of cards would crumble if you took out the subsidies.
Yeah, I think so too.
How do you go about that? So on a major scale, they're subsidized by the capital, investor cash. The whole system is ran off of capital, off of investors, and tips. I mean, what do you do about it? You keep it going. What else you do?
Right. Yeah. It's like once you start something, it's been going on for a while, and the people that make decisions and have money to build things are going to ride that wave. And to come back from that and do something, I don't know how it would even be possible at this point for a small business shop that's got a sandwich shop to pay their people $15 an hour and actually then keep people employed. I don't know how it would happen. I just don't see realistically how these restaurants would be able to actually stay open. That's just my opinion, though. But
I'm gonna get an interview when I was working in Bloomington. There was it's like a blue dot in the middle of Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
It's a college town, and there's a restaurant that was paying $18 an hour and no tips.
Mm-hmm.
They were paying their servers. I wanted to get an interview before I left. Before I finished that job, I didn't get it. Interview whoever manager or somebody in there and see what how it was going.
Yeah.
And just get their opinion on it. But that's why. You got to tip because that's the system that we're dealt. So, you gotta, if you want to go out to eat, I mean, that's the system in place. It's just like a subsidy. Farmers can't survive without that subsidy. You can't just reinvent the wheel and go without.
Yeah.
And think that farms are going to survive.
Yeah.
Without government subsidies. You fed the system. You got to keep it going.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah, I didn't think about the farmer part. You know what I mean? I don't know much about that, but it's an interesting perspective.
Well, it's like I said, it's subsidized to keep the cost of whatever, whether it be corn, whether it be eating out. It's just subsidized from a different source beyond the farmer or the restaurant, or there's extra money coming into the whole system from a different source. I was wondering if a frisbee golfer could hold up a phone for that long, Pedro.
Bro, listen, man. You met me. I'm not a big guy. I'm a small man, right? But I got some stamina in me, my friend. All right.
I got a picture of you standing next to the Lexus.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. No. But I love frisbee golf. I love it, man. It's fun. I like it mostly because it's just I'm with my family, but like it's enjoyable to be outside and nature and doing things. And you frisbee golf, you're doing it in like basically like in a park, obviously in woods, and you're walking through trails, man. If you've never done it, man, it's definitely a fun time.
I know we don't have enough here in Indiana.
Yeah, man, it's fun.
Parks with courses.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a bad shoulder.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, if you ever make it back to St. Louis, man, we do a little frisbee golf together. It could be a good time.
We can. I could do a back nine or something.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, throwing a football and throwing a baseball kind of ripped my situation.
I hear you. But, anything else you want to touch on?
No, the multi-app, like if you're in a big city, it's hard to run 5 apps for me. It gets stressful.
Yeah.
It's hard to but I'm blessed to be that busy, I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had Uber Eats is too much, it gets, they're coming in.
So let me ask you a question. That's I saw some data out there from a company called Solo. They're trying to bring some analytics to gig workers and help them understand like how they can make more money in their market and things like that, right? So I think not enough of us look at it like that, right? We just look at, I'm going to pick this food up and drop it off and I hope they tip me and blah, 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 and miles to money. But it can actually get a lot deeper than that. So coming from, like you just said, having 5 apps in a big city, it can be stressful. They're all on at the same time. Do you think that having more apps active is actually bad?
It's like Moneyball and investing analytics or everything. Like the movie Moneyball.
Absolutely, yeah. Based on a true story, the Oakland A's.
Yeah. So we're smart. We know our game. You want as many good offers coming in as possible, and you have to know your drop-offs. You have to be in a spot where you think you're going to get a best offer from any of those apps. Where you end up dropping off, because they're all the same. Like you want the best offers in what region of your market will you get the best offers when you're done dropping that one off? And well, you have a run in the queue. Like I said on here, I commented the best part about multi-apping is having a good order in the queue because you're heading to a good area where there's good orders coming out of that area.
Absolutely.
A lot of good money.
It keeps you busy if you have a couple on, but my thing is if you've got too many on, is it too, you cast too wide of a net? Are you not able to focus on maybe the ones in your market that are really good? You know what I'm saying?
Well, when it's super busy, you can run strategies. So it could throw you off your strategy. You have to stick to your strategy. And that's where you're going to make your best money if you have a good strategy.
Yeah.
When it's busy and orders are constantly coming in, you can decline so offers, and you're going for that good one and running your strategy to get your best offers. Then yes, then it would distract you. Like if you're running a strategy and it's working, you don't need to add another app. It will. But like I said, the drop off, because you want to have a good order in queue, you want to decline 3 before you drop that order off. Your odds of getting a good order in those 3 orders that you declined on your way to your drop off, because you're entering into a hot zone on your way to drop something off, you might decline 1 bad offer, 1 so-so offer, and then the 3rd or 4th will be a good offer. But what you're looking for, because you're heading towards a good area.
Yeah, true. All right, brother. I'm gonna take the next call. I appreciate you calling. I appreciate the conversation, and I hope the family is well and all that good stuff.
It's all good, man. We're gonna be heading to Florida in 2022 too. We got a grandma down there that needs to see us.
Oh yeah. I'll be in Florida January 1st through the 4th or 5th. So we're gonna drive down there again for like a little Christmas in St. Louis, and then do Christmas with my girlfriend's family down there. So appreciate you, man. We'll have to connect again. We'll have to just talk privately at some point. But I wish you well, and I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Later, Pedro.
All right, man. All right, let's put some pictures up. Ooh, I like that picture right there. You can't see my daughter, Gabby. I'll just show her real quick. She's 20. In this picture, I think she was 7. I love you, Gabby. All right, so let's see what we got next. All right. Man, I got this. You guys got to be patient with me. I got a lot of. You need dark background. Okay, yeah, the lighting. Dark. I'm gonna listen. Eventually, we're gonna be moving soon, and I'm gonna have an office, and I'm gonna have a setup. We're gonna take it to the next level within the next 3-4 months, and it's gonna be nice. But you bring up a good point about the backdrop. Let me see. There was somebody that had this one right here. Boom, Ryan. See if he's ready. All right, let's check this chat out real quick. Go Cubbies all day. All day. I'm from Chicago, baby. All day long. Go. The Bears took an L today. My Cubs, my Chicago Bulls. Woo, the Bulls look good right now. Blackhawks, I haven't started following hockey yet. It's too early, but yeah, Cubs all day. Cubs they're not going to be good this year. We might win 65 games, 70 games, maybe. I currently like to have Grubhub, Corner Shop, and Uber Eats running. It seems to be if you got 3 running active at one time while you're out doing work, that seems to be the sweet spot. What do you guys tell me? Why did I watch the Bears? Yeah, man, it was rough. Oh, Andy Dalton, oh Lord. If you need help with streaming setup, Pedro, for your new setup, I would love to help you out with. Yeah, man, that would help. Superstar, that would help, because I'm not a technology person. I'm gonna have a nice, not studio, but it'll be an office, and it's gonna be nice. But I'm gonna definitely need to get. All right, Ryan's ready. Is it Ryan? Yeah, let's do this, Ryan. All right, Ryan's the next contestant on Talk with Pedro about gig apps. All right.
Hello, this is Ryan.
Ryan, how are you?
Pretty good. Go White Sox, by the way.
Oh no, Ryan, no. I love it, man. It's all good. I got some family that's White Sox fans. It's all good. I can forgive it. It's good. So what do you got on your mind tonight, man?
Well, I've had a lot on my mind over the last few times, but I'll just give you a brief history of who I am, a little about me. I've had a job for 16 years in the railroad, really good paying job, and lived down here in Austin, Texas, in this market. Last year, I decided to sign up for DoorDash and Instacart, and of course, with the pandemic going on and everything, I didn't have to, but I do not like my job. I hate it. So I'm like, I'm going to do something on the side just to see how it goes. And I think what happened with some of these gig apps and all that, like someone like myself, we all joined them and said, hey, this is pretty good money.
Yeah.
And I was easily making $200-300 a day, no traffic, nothing, and I didn't go to work. I still worked at the railroad, still have my job, and things have changed since then, obviously. So, I've been looking for other ways to quit my job and to work for myself, be self-employed. Mm-hmm. But I do replace that DoorDash and all these other apps. It's not really a full-time job. Or you have to have multiple streams of income. Or at least you shouldn't rely on it. But some markets you can, but you never know. You could get deactivated for any reason sometimes. Yeah. So, what I was saying is that what I found is some things I could do while I'm in the car delivering, while I'm waiting for orders, or while at home. And, I don't really deliver that much anymore now because I make more at home now. But while I was in the car waiting for pings, I basically, it's kind of hard to explain, but the thing I do is I fill out paperwork for people. And while I wait in the car, I just fill out paperwork. And when I get offered, I stop the paperwork, do the offer. When I finish it, I go back to my other job while I'm in the car. And that's the beauty of DoorDash, I think, and all those other apps. Not really Instacart, but you can do other work or you can do other things on the side while you're waiting for a peak.
Absolutely.
And you'll be notified. Unlike Instacart, you actually have to watch it and you have to be sniping on it. So that doesn't work. But that's how I look at it. Is if you can diversify yourself and do not just multiple apps, but do multiple things, I think that it really will benefit a lot of people. And even just listening to a podcast, watching YouTube channels on how to do things, like how to start a YouTube channel, or how to, you could even do classes for notary, and they're very inexpensive to be a notary, and start doing that. The options are endless, but I see a lot of people in my area, they just sit in their cars and just do nothing and they wait. And I'm like, if you can spend your time learning or doing something else, I think that's where the ultimate goal will be. Because, So like you with the vending machines you said, and you have other things to do. I think that's great. It's a stepping stone.
No, absolutely. I think it's a stepping stone. I think if you use it in that way, and you have a plan as far as how long you're going to do this and what amount of hours and how much energy, you could do multiple things while you're doing this, because you can turn it on and off. You can only take really great orders. You could use DoorDash or whatever as a way of, taking care of your costs for like your car and your gas and things while you're making money doing other things, right? Like, I think it's really good for that reason. But, for those of us that are out there doing just the gig apps and you don't have a plan, or you're not working on something else and there is no stepping stone, I would challenge people to rethink that way, because it's not going to be sustainable for that long, I think.
No, and I think that is part of the problem, is that like with me included, is last year, unfortunately, because of the thing that happened, I'm not gonna say it, it was a lot better than it usually is, and especially with no traffic, at least where I was. I easily, and Austin area is more of a tech town, and a lot more people use the apps, I'm sure, but easily do $30 to $40 an hour last year. And whenever you want, I can dash anytime. I didn't have to be top dasher. So in certain markets, you got, I like that. But now this year, it's slowed down a lot. A lot more people, I think, stayed on and think it's going to always stay like that. And it's like, well, that's spoiled. And I did too. And so, I just was looking at that, because even myself, like I said, I have a good job, and I thought about quitting because it's a stepping stone to get to where I want to be. However, with a good job, it's like, well, you got to be smart about it too. And one thing I also learned is, we were talking about the tipping and all that. It's me, because I'm one of those people that sees both sides. I agree with both sides. There's always a room for both. But I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum, where I get people upset at me, my girlfriend included, the other day, because I tip too much. And it's funny, because people look at that strange, because now it's like, people like me, like, as long as you can afford it, I feel like I should make up for people, because I saw the cooks cooking, and they were busy, and I'm like, I don't even know if they get anything. I don't know, the waiters.
No, most restaurants, the cooks do not. 99.9%, the cooks are not part of that tip. No. And
I know they do get paid better, but like, unless it's a nice restaurant and stuff, I'm sure it's not that much better. So it's like one of those things where, at the end of the day, you gotta do what you think's right, and makes you feel good. And for me, I was raised on tipping, and even in Europe, I went to Europe 5 years ago. Tipping is not generally looked upon as like something you need to do or should do. And that actually is looked at like kind of rude in some places. But I did that too, and they took. But it's just what it is. And I think I've mentioned before too. Technology has changed a lot. And I think it's hard to change your mindset and change things the way they were, because I'm 37 years old. And when I was delivering pizzas in high school and in college, I got paid $2 per delivery. And you just take your pizza to the house, and that's it. You weren't paid a tip. You were not told anything other than you get $2 per delivery. And, that's the way it was. So, nowadays, we should feel lucky and blessed that we actually have this technology, and we should be told what our tips are ahead of time, and as people going to tip, because Honestly, I don't know how we did it back then.
No, I think you bring up a great point, man. I think we are definitely we have it easier than the people that were doing this work 20 years ago, for sure. There's no, I don't think there's much debate about that at all. And we're able to make more than, a more of a living type wage. Ryan, I appreciate the call, man. I like your insight. Appreciate it. And appreciate you watching tonight, and talk to you soon, man.
Take it easy. I love the grind. Keep it going, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. All right. Let's see who else we got in the text line. Tipping, I've been DoorDash for 3 years. I have 350 daily, 7 days for my performance in my market. I can talk about multi-apping. I've been doing it for years and still make 350. It works, but if you put it in the work, you can make real good money. I agree with that. 100%. All right, so let's see if we got multi-apping with 4 apps on one device. I think would hurt your bottom line. If you have an additional phone and run 2 apps on each, I think that will be better and less stressful. Let's talk about app issue. You know what? I agree with that as well. What's the page? This is Peter P.Y. I don't know what P.Y. is. P.Y. I don't know what that means. No. Okay. So if you want, let's get some new text in. So I'm going to put the number up here. I want to hear from somebody about using and having more active apps. Like if you have somebody that has 4 or more on at once, and you want to share with us like what you make in your market, your size, do you think you're actually doing yourself a disservice by having too many on at one time? And you're spending too much energy and time on trying to look at multiple apps on one phone or 2 phones, Curious to see. All right, let's go into chat here real quick and see what we got. That's not too many apps. That's too many apps, man, says Jason. Agree. I don't agree with it, rather, but it's always been that way. Tipping helps workers provide better service. As to poor service leads to person earning less money. Okay. $2 per delivery, then you get tips, but didn't know amount of tips. I'm over Pedro. Find something outside the gig economy, but I'm too busy with DoorDash. Lots of sheep to fleece. It's not that, Pedro. It's that in some rural markets you have to use that many. I hear you. Yeah, it's obviously market specific. Clearly, you still listening to Donda. Who's that stable? I listened to Donda this morning. It's the album of the year for me. I don't want to listen. I can't even go. There's a couple songs on that that are classics for me. All right, let's check this out right here. Oh, who's this? I have some views on non-tippers I would like to share that you guys didn't touch on. Okay, let's see if this person's ready. We didn't touch on something. Let's talk about it. I also got deactivated with 390 in my account. Would like to talk about that along with the debate today. Let's not. Well, I guess we can talk about that. Let's see if this person's ready. I don't want to talk about deactivation too much. I want to try to stay on topic if we can. Oh, come to life. Listen, I'm going to share something with you guys right now. Okay, I don't like everything that Kanye West does. There's a lot of things I do agree. Anyways, I don't like all his music. This last album, because of where I'm at in my life and other things, and music for me is very therapeutic. It makes me, I listen to things that are relatable. I like lyrics and how they're formatted, and I think about where that person was in their life that made them make this song, and have I ever felt that emotion? Come to Life is an absolutely fantastic song. It's a fantastic music video. Probably the third time I heard it, I was walking and I was thinking about like a family member and just some things in my life, and I was like, man, I felt the tears coming. I'm telling you, that song hits different. There's a few of them on that album. There's about 4 of them, I think, actually, that I can listen to just about every day. So anyways, all right, let's take this call here. This is Damien. But I can say that about a lot of different music. Donda's the album,
What's up?
Damien, how are you?
I'm good, Pedro. How you doing? Go Brewers.
I'm doing well. Go Brewers. Hey, you guys have got a better setup than we do right now. So I'll give you that. All right. I'll give you that. So what do you want to chat about tonight, Damien?
Well, I guess more so the video. I mean, not the video, the debate in
Okay.
today's video.
Yeah, let's talk about
But
it.
real quickly, the only reason why I didn't want to get too off topic though, but I'll just say very quickly. Unfortunately, I was deactivated on Friday.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I've never had an issue. I started Ubering like in 2015, did over 5,000, then started Uber Eats, got used to the deliveries, then found DoorDash, moved out to California. But anyways, I have 390 in my account, and when I go on the app, it just says you're deactivated. So it kind of sucks. So I appealed it, talked to someone. They're saying I should get paid, when the normal payout comes, which is, it's Tuesday. But
yeah.
I've, looked it up on Reddit, and, I guess, another person too was in the same situation, and, they're like, oh, I still haven't gotten paid, and it's Thursday. So, I mean, I'm not there yet. Obviously, it's Sunday, so I was kind of worried about it, and I'm hoping I get reactivated Monday, but I just wanted to, hopefully some people in the comments can, maybe direct me or give me some guidance, but I also have views on today's video as well.
Well, I'm sorry that happened, man. Yeah, if you guys got something in the comments, let you could go back and read them. And I can't give much insight on that because I've never had that happen to me. So, but I maybe you will be reactivated. I hope that happens, man.
Yeah, for sure. But with regards to today's video, that guy obviously he doesn't represent all non-tippers. Everyone's different, but. Because he said he doesn't go out a lot. That's what he made it sound like.
He did say that. Yeah, he did say that.
True. So this maybe doesn't pertain to him though. But he people like that, they act like they're so strongly against the tipping system and the big corporations, but then they still go out and use the services. Like if you're against it that much, then I mean you should be that fired up that if you're not protesting, you're damn sure not going and using the services.
And he worked. He worked for the service too, which was odd, right? So that's like me saying, "Hey, I hate the Brewers. I hate the Brewers organization, but then I'm gonna go work for them and go to some games." It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And people like that, because if you're asking non-tipper if they're cheap, a lot of them they don't think they're cheap. But that's really what it comes down to because it's customary in this country. It's frowned upon not to tip. It's not mandatory, but. When you go overseas, I remember in the military, certain places, all right, cover up your tattoos, don't speak to the females in this country. It's not against the law, but it's a customary norm that you respect.
It's a cultural norm of respect within that land, that country. Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of non-tippers, it's all like they'll hold the door for people. They'll say hello. They'll do all these customary things that are nice and polite. But when it comes to tipping, which is nice and polite, which costs a couple bucks, now they have an excuse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think some people you're saying, and maybe this doesn't go for him. We don't know, but some people hide behind just being cheap and frugal, and they say, "I just don't believe in tipping," but it's really that they're just cheap.
Exactly. So that's kind of like an angle that that I like to take is, either if you're so against it, then don't use the services. And it's like you do other customary stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like who wants to hold the door and when it's cold out? You do it because it's nice. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's the right thing. So that's just kind of where I was at with that.
Yeah. That's a good point. I think, and for me, like I go out so often or I do pickup or whatever. And like, I just tip. It's a part of my fabric of who I am. And I appreciate somebody doing something for me that I can do myself. So I'm going to show them a little love. And it's like, I've been able to build good relationships from that. And, some people can disagree like, oh, that's discriminating. I'm only going to give you good service if you tip. But I just don't, I choose not to look at it like that. So.
Yeah. And one last thing, it's like more so the people who are receiving tips or when you see a tip jar are normally people that aren't making a lot, such as DoorDash drivers and waitresses. And sometimes people will be like, you don't tip the guy at McDonald's. Well, if it popped up on the if it popped up on the screen, I'll throw them $1. If it goes to the employee, if everyone tipped $1 at McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? Because we all shouldn't even be eating at McDonald's anyways. We all know that, but we're gonna treat ourselves to McDonald's. If everyone tipped $1, and these kids that are making, X amount of dollars get an extra, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, like I'll throw them $1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I will tip the guy at McDonald's.
I hear you, and I think we have to understand people that go into the service industry. Most of us that are doing this, we are building towards something. So if that allows, if you do that, you're kind of allowing that person to reach their goal quicker, and there should be some kind of like joy in that. I think, you know what I mean. Like you're able to tip that waitress that's paying her way through college or school, right? And the more she can make, the faster she can like reach her dreams. I think there's value in that, and I don't think enough of us look at it like that. We're in this work for a reason. Nobody wants to wait tables. Nobody wants to deliver food. We're doing it because we either have to, or we're doing it because we're betting, like we're setting goals, and I'm doing it as a side hustle so I can really do what I want later, right? And I think it's, there's value in like showing gratitude to people that are doing that kind of work.
Yeah, that's true. And that's something I guess Prop 22, last thing, and I'll hang up. Like, I get Prop 22, well, I guess I did before it was deactivated, but every Tuesday you get something that says adjustment pay. And basically, it depends on on your dashing, but I average, they'll throw me I'll get like an extra 60 to $100. So yeah, that's better than nothing though. But you guys are kind of acting like Prop 12 is, oh, you guys are hooked up out there in Cali. I mean, even with an extra 100, I appreciate it, but it's still not life changing. It's sometimes I get $65, and I dash every day. But that's all I got for you, Pedro.
Yeah, hey, Damien, I appreciate it, man. Have a good night, and I hope everything goes well for you next week with the money and the reactivation. And some people had some comments. Yeah. Some people had some comments. You might want to check them out if you're watching. So.
All right, bro. Have a good one.
All right, man. Thank you. All right, Damien. All right, I don't think having too many apps is bad. It's just too many choices can be detrimental. I believe that, Peter. Yes. Let's see what we got here. We got somebody send me a screenshot. I think this should be changed. The app should change the tip to delivery bid. I've used the word bid a few times. I think people look at tip and it's a word for like restaurants, and they don't understand the delivery driver. Like, we don't have to take that order, right? It's a bid. If you put a bid in, you get your food a little quicker. You might get your McDonald's chicken McNuggets a little quicker. So the bid word's always something I thought was interesting. Let's check this chat out though. Having a human bring you food is a premium service. Some orders are from premium customers, good tippers, and some are not. I do not take orders from non-premium customers. Mateo, I like that. You guys know me. I'm the same way, man. Same exact way. So Kathy says, hold on. Why isn't this going up here? There we go. I have throw a tip at a drive-through work many times, especially now. Usually a high school kid really taking pride in their job, and you can tell how hard they are trying. Usually they're shocked by a huge smile. Yeah, Kathy, I've done it a couple times. Actually, I was on a delivery. This was probably 7 months. Wingstop. Went to go pick up this Wingstop, and they were packed. And this poor, she was in high school probably, working part-time, right? I mean, they were so busy. She gave me the food. It was a long way, and she was really trying her best. And I wrote on the slide, like, hey, gave her a $5. I was like, thank you. I had $5 in my pocket. I don't usually carry cash. Like, hey, keep it up. Keep your energy. Like, you're doing good. You got this. And that's just, you don't have to do that. But it made her night. You know what I'm saying? I could tell. And I've gotten oil changes sometimes. And the Valvoline people, they do a really good job. My local Valvoline. I'll tip the person sometimes. Like, hey, thank you. Lunch is on me today. Like, doing those kind of things, I believe in karma. Like, good things tend to come back. I've tipped, like, I go to Smoothie King, I give them a couple bucks for my smoothie. Sometimes I feel like I have a better day when that happens, like, I think it's, it's a personal decision, but I think there's a lot you can gain from it as well. Okay. By just showing somebody a little bit of love and gratitude. So, all right, let's see. Kobe all day long, man. For those of you that don't know, Kobe is when you get a bad order, crumble it up. Kobe, throw it in the trash can. That's where Kobe came from. As a gig food delivery driver, I do agree with tips being included with customers' orders, But that's because I'm a driver, and that makes up a huge portion of my income. I think most people will agree. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have that viewpoint because that's what we do. And, you know, basically 65 to 70% of what I make is from tips. The rest is from DoorDash base pay. So the more tips I get, the better. I mean, the more I'm going to make, you know. Right on the tread. Yep. I don't tip non-tip jar people because it's awkward. I hear you. It can be. It's very situational for me. It's only a handful of times where I've done that. But even the Smoothie King, like there's like a little tip thing there. So, but the Wingstop one was like, this poor girl was just, they were taking advantage of her. I needed her to smile. Like, even if it wasn't like, and who knows if that even mattered, but I could tell it might. So I was like, $5, you know. I didn't tell her this one. Like, go buy a soda when you get off or something, or, you know, do something to make your night better because you're having a rough one. Paying it forward all day, man. You know what I've never done though? I've never actually, you know, that drive-through thing where you go to, I hate always using McDonald's as an example, but you go to McDonald's and say, you get there, I'm going to pay for the person behind me. I've never done that. I've always wanted to maybe do it, but sometimes I'm scared, like, man, what if they got like $100 order? You can't take that back. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be ready to maybe pay a little bit, but yeah. Thanks for reading my comments. Yeah, no problem, man. It's no problem. It's no problem at all. I appreciate you guys being here. All right, so we're at 2 hours and 5 minutes. Let's read the chat in here. I want to know a couple of things. So holiday time. Nobody's called in about this yet. We're in the middle of the holiday time. If you don't have that red card, you should have it with DoorDash specifically. You can get retail orders, shop orders, whatever. Okay. In your markets, what do you expect to see during this holiday time? Is it going to be busier, slower, longer wait times, frustrations, merchants, closed lobbies? Like, what are you seeing? What can you tell the community? Some of the OGs out there that have been doing this for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, doing gig work, holiday seasons. Holiday for me starts, you know, a couple days before Thanksgiving, and it goes until basically February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. That months, those few months there, those, you know, whatever, 140 days or whatever it is, that's the busiest time in restaurants and most retail stores. That's where they make their money. That's why it's called Black Friday. I don't know if you guys knew that. Most companies stay in the red, and then when Black Friday hits, companies actually start making a profit the last few months of the year. Most retail merchants and restaurants. So what do you expect to see this holiday season? I'd like to know. I'd like to hear from you guys in the chat. I expect my market to be about the same. Longer wait times in some places, but I'll make about the same amount of money. I don't think I'll make much more. I don't think I'll make much less. That's what I think. DoorDash says lower the suggested tip amounts on short trip orders as low as $1.50 tip. That is unacceptable. Minimum tip should be $5. I think if they did a minimum tip of $5, less people would order. So DoorDash would lose money. I think that's why they don't do it. I'm not against that though. But I think that's why they talk about it. Let's talk about holiday. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's talk about holiday. So we're gonna take this call right here because I'm curious to see what it's like. We all, you know, we're gonna have more saturation in certain markets because more people are gonna want to have more side money for the holiday season for themselves. So does that mean we're gonna make less? Does it mean we can make more because tips will be more as people are generous around the holiday season? I don't know. You guys tell me, man. All right, let's do this call right here and talk about the holiday stuff.
Hey, David, how's it going?
Good, good. Who do we have on the line tonight?
Slavic.
Slavic, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, hello, everybody else. I'm good. I'm actually had a very trying week this week. Finished it out almost with a grand.
Nice, man. That's fantastic. How many hours did you work this week, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, every day from about 5 till 9 or 10.
Okay.
Today, when I ran for 7 days, and today I ran from 10 in the morning, from 11 till about 6.
Nice. Not bad, man. It's a fantastic week.
I haven't calculated hours yet, but I gave you the rough idea.
Yeah. I was just curious how much time and effort, you know, each market's different. You know, sometimes you got to work, you know, 70, 80 hours to make that. Sometimes maybe it's 50, you know, it can vary. So let's talk about holiday stuff. Let's talk. What's your opinion on the holidays coming up that we're in?
Yeah, I created a cheat sheet, and this week I started using a cheat sheet, and it made big improvements.
Let's talk about that.
Actually, I'll have a video on that probably tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Then I guess we can touch it up next Sunday. Any questions people might have?
Okay. Good. What are you seeing? Yeah, no. I hear. I respect that. What are you seeing in your market though with holidays? Have you seen any changes? Have you seen like?
Oh, big change.
So let's talk about that. What are you seeing?
Especially since Thanksgiving, traffic increased at least twice around the mall. It's almost impossible to find parking to pick up anything from. I'm glad that Connecticut was more specific. I noticed that 225 orders have decreased.
Decreased? You said decreased?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Now, what does the owl mean? Sorry.
Oh, the owl? The owl's he's my co-host, man. I like owls, and this is my girlfriend's little owl thing, but I like to have him here. I think it looks cool. So.
I know a couple times showing. I'm like,
yeah, just for a topic, just to make somebody laugh. I don't know, make somebody smile.
So yes, the 229s have decreased. More double orders from the same restaurant.
Yeah.
Those have been noticeable. I also noticed more long distance. Well, I mean, long distance is a more mileage delivery that are also doubled up.
So, in your opinion, what is a long distance order?
Well, anything below 5 is I consider to be short. Short run.
Okay.
But I also noticed a lot of 8, 9, 10, 12-mile runs lately, and they're doubled up. Where before I see once in a while 8 miles, but a 12-mile and doubled up. Single, I never seen 12 miles, but doubled up. I was just kind of like, what?
Yeah. I see those too in my market, man. I'll do 8, 9, 10 all day if it's highway and it's like a good merchant. And if I can knock it out in 15 minutes and it's paying 10, 12 bucks, I'll take it. But that's only because my highways are it's so densely populated that I can do that and kind of get off the highway, drop it off, get right back into my zone. I'm real lucky in that way.
Now before Thanksgiving, when I would pull out $1 or a $5 in a restaurant and hand it to a server, they were kind of shocked. Right now, when I pull out, right now I don't no longer pull out at every place. I pull out whenever I feel that I need to give it. And when I pull now, I don't see that shockness anymore. It feels like your message kind of got getting around.
I think. Well, I think some more people, the people that are gonna tip, are gonna understand that these restaurants have been short-staffed. They've been asked to do a lot more work, especially with the gig apps that these restaurants now have. They got the tablets, so restaurant staff is actually doing more and maybe even making less sometimes because the lobbies are closed. They don't have, it's just different. I think some people, a small percentage, understand that, so they're showing love to these restaurant staffs in different ways that they weren't before. And then you got the people that are just going to be rude and whatever, but it is what it is. You're still going to have good people out there that are going to maybe tip in ways and in times where it wasn't normal before, a year or two ago.
I also noticed at some restaurants, not all of them, that I wait late. Wait less. But some restaurants that they're hopeless, like Crackle Barrel. Even though I discovered that the 20 minutes a glitch in the system, and I actually took 2 orders recently to verify. The glitch is fixed, looks like, but they're still late.
Yeah.
Not the 20 minutes late, but they're still trying to shoot for that 10 minutes at least.
I've never done a Crackle Barrel order. I've only gotten a couple that came through, but I've never picked up from Crackle Barrel before, not once. But I'm also there's one in my area, and I'm not really ever really close to it, so that's probably why. But when I was driving through on the road trip, I got one, but it was 25 miles for $20. It's there's no way I'm taking that. It's way out of the way. But I don't hear great things. I hear that a lot of times the wait time's kind of long there.
Yeah. And then, if you don't mind, I want to touch base on that conference you had 2 hours ago, an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
I did not know about how the tipping started here in America.
You said you didn't know?
I did not know.
Yeah, actually, Slavic, I did a video on it probably, it's probably been 4 months. The video, you can find it. It basically has like a ketchup and mustard thing, like an X marks going over a $sign. And like I did a quick 15-minute history of tipping. And it's rather fascinating, like in a bad way, actually. But there's a lot of history, a lot of back history with how it came to be popular in America. And it's not like, it's very different than most people would imagine, I think.
But when I listened today and you mentioned about the slavery has never changed. The 225 is still the same slavery. Back then they paid nothing. The same paying a penny, the fee and the inflated to 225.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the same. I think there's some major differences. However, I would agree that being taken advantage of in a way of somebody that has money and power and somebody that doesn't, that's the same. Like that core, like being taken advantage of, that's definitely the same. But I think we still have we have more free will than people had 500 years ago. Like we actually, we don't have to do certain things, and other people were forced into things. Like that's very different. But the way it came to be in America and how people of substance actually took advantage of people that didn't have anything, like it's absolutely absurd. But that's the history of this country, and it's okay to talk about it because that's what happened. It's real. It's out there.
And then something else that got mentioned during the meeting, I'm not sure who mentioned it, that every dollar that, I'm talking about the 225 that's compensated with a tip. I'm going to call it compensated because really it should be a gift, not a compensation. I'll never change my mind because that's how it was in Europe. And I came from Europe, so
Yeah.
I'll use that one.
Yeah.
But that every compensation that's being paid by a customer is the money that's being placed into shareholders' pockets, set up into our pockets. And the question is that fair? See, and you probably noticed, even take a little to actually send a message. Corruption, when we start talking about corruption, like you said, this country is built on corruption.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The government, there are people that are in the government, they actually write law in corruption just so they can launder the money so they don't have to pay taxes while we do.
Yeah. Right.
So if you want to start talking about corruption, we need to destroy everything and start over. And this is impossible in some cases.
Yeah, it is. And it's what do we do, man? I don't know. I think some people are making changes in some ways, and people got the boots on the ground and they're trying things and protesting and trying to get laws, but like it's tough, man. You're fighting. It's David versus Goliath. I mean, literally, it's David versus Goliath.
Example, my daughter, when she was born, her birth certificate was sold on the stock market by the state, and now being traded, and the state is making money. That's how corrupt this is. So when I'm talking about corruption, it starts from the birth, and it just continues.
I could talk about this.
Unless people wake up, there's no change coming.
Yeah. No, I could talk about that for hours because there are, there's so much going on currently. Anyways, I don't want to get off topic because I'll start going on a rant and I don't want to go there. But Slavic, I appreciate your insight, my friend. I'll be looking for your video tomorrow. Okay.
Hey, appreciate you. Love your videos.
Thanks, man.
Definitely listen to the video that I released this morning.
Okay.
There's something for you particularly.
Got it. I'll check it out, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, man. All right. My brother Slavic. So he has a channel, Slavic, SLAVICD. Check him out. I think let's get him to 100 subs, man. I think he's got 94, 95 when I last checked. So Let's see what we got here. I want to talk about the holiday changes as it's forced me to dash in one zone only. Also, pros and cons of multi-apping. I believe it does hurt hourly, but you're capped on one app versus 2 to 3. Okay, you know what? Let's do that call in a couple minutes. We're going to do that one. But I want to read some comments from you guys real quick. And then I want to talk about one other thing. Okay, so see who we got in the chat still. Omniferous86. Grubhub sent me an email saying I unlocked catering orders 2 weeks in. Still entry level, not even partner. The difference is I bought the Grubhub catering bag. Interesting. Bag just hasn't arrived. Okay. Yeah, listen, we got to get some bag. Make sure you got a bag. DoorDash sent out stuff, and they sent it to me about taking pictures of the pizza bag, but I've never had to take a picture yet. That was like 3 weeks ago, and I've probably done 40 pizza deliveries. I don't know what's going on. DoorDash be playing games, man. They'd be crazy. Have you seen business pick up died to holidays yet? Mary, I have not seen much of a difference in my market. The one thing I would say, I have seen maybe more stacked offers. The one day, everything I got was stacked. Either it showed us a stack or it became a stack because they added it. And I just think that's just because more people are ordering. I think it's going to be busy, but in my market, I think it's going to be basically about the same. And I'm in St. Louis. It's super lucky to be in this market. It's busy. I can dash now whenever I want in most zones most of the time. I'm not a top dasher. My acceptance rate did go up to about 30% though in the last 2 days because I was getting good orders and I was taking them. So it was about 14 or 15% like on Tuesday, and by the time I got to yesterday, it was at 30%. And that's a little high for me. I'm not gonna lie, but no problem with the typo. It's all good. I got what you were saying. Red pill. If you ain't using a bag, you're lame. You're jogging with. Get a bag, guys. Use a bag. Use a bag. Please use a bag. GiG Lebowski, I never got that message to take photos of my bags. Yeah, GiG, I know it was in certain markets, but I got the message, and hours later it said, oh, we have issues, disregard the message. And then the next week, they sent me the same message, and I still haven't had to take a picture yet. It's really strange. And GiG Lebowski is one of our featured channels, guys, okay? Let's get him. How many people do we got in here right now? It's 183 people. Go check out GiG Lebowski's channel. I don't know where he's at. I know he was slightly over 500 subs. He does videos. I believe he just puts videos out Monday through Saturday. Is that right, GiG Lebowski? Or is it Tuesday through Saturday maybe? Might be Tuesday through Saturday. Check him out. Let's get him to 525 subs. Let's get him an extra 20 subs right now. Let's do it. You guys can do it. Dashing Grandpa, I have more bags than I have room to carry. Dashing Grandpa's got all the apps. Dashing Grandpa, put it in the chat. How many apps you got, man? How many apps do you use that you actually work like on a weekly basis? I bet it's probably 5 or 6 at least. Monday through Thursday. Okay, got it. Monday through Thursday. I know sometimes, GiG, I saw some videos you would do like on Saturday sometimes. I've been seeing some of those. Bud Soda, what up, man? Then random vids. Yeah, got it. Maybe Saturdays are random. I'm almost at 600. 600 what? Delivery? No, I asked how many. 5 all the time. Okay, Dashing Grandpa 5 all the time. So he's on the higher end. So based on the analytics I've seen, Dashing Grandpa, you are part of like the 15% of workers that have 4 or more. I think that was about that. 600 bags? No, he ain't got 600 bags. There's no way Dashing Grandpa's got 600 bags. All right, 600 subs. Okay, got it. 511 now. Thanks to everyone. Let's get GiG Lebowski to 525 before we end the live stream. 525. We can do that. I know we can do that. He's one of our featured channels, along with GiG Tetris Dude, and what's that? Oh, and Angelika Simone. All right, let's do this call right here. I want to talk about some holiday stuff.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Jeff.
Hello. Who do we have on line tonight?
Tony.
Tony, how are you, man?
Hey, good, you?
I'm doing fantastic. What do you want to talk about? Some holiday things? What do you got on your mind?
Yeah, I'll talk about the holidays and then also multi-apping.
Okay.
Basically, to explain like my zones, just picture a rectangle, and then a rectangle on top of that rectangle, and a rectangle on top of that rectangle. The problem with my zones is I'm in the middle. The zone below me and the zone above me they both have shopping malls. And they both contain 75% of the routes are on one road. So it's like, it's so congested in these areas, I can't go to them.
Like so it's too much traffic? Too much traffic.
It's like, if I try to do the zone, like, we'll say zone A, the ones below me on the map, I can't do it because a 1.2 miles could be a nightmare. It could be a half hour.
I hear that.
And it sucks because I like that route too.
My zones are very similar to yours. I feel like they're stacked up on top of each other, and I could be in 4 zones in one day. But man, I don't have a lot of traffic. It happens sometimes. You get bad luck. There's an accident. I do have construction, but I don't have it to where there's a zones where I have to stay away from because of that 1 or 2 mile stretch like you do.
It's just terrible. It's like,
I bet, man.
It's basically a route that has 5 hotspots on the same street. It's like a 10-mile zone, 10-mile road that just has nonstop restaurants, fast food, malls, shopping centers. It's just like, it's a nightmare. It's like 5 miles full of traffic. Light the light, the light, the light, the light. I'm like, I can't do that route because and then the route above me is like, it's like an exact twin of that route. So it's like I'm stuck in my area and I hate it. Like it sucks.
What market are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
The Youngstown, Ohio area.
So I just drove through Ohio. I drove through Dayton and Columbus, I think.
Yeah, that's more on the west coast.
That's more on the west. Okay, yeah, I didn't go that far then. Yeah.
I'm right on the tip of West Virginia and PA. Cleveland's about 60 miles above me, and Pittsburgh is 60 miles in the opposite direction.
Got it,
I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I drove through. I did a dash from Pennsylvania, and I did 2 in West Virginia, but I didn't go that part of Ohio. I've been there before, but not this time. How long have you been doing gig work, man?
Since May.
Since May. Okay. So what do you foresee? Are you going to have to adapt strategy a little bit as far as like holidays and stuff? Like, are you going to have to like change like where you're going to be? You think there's some places you're going to have to stay away from altogether because the holiday shopping malls are going to be just swamped with traffic?
The route below me, there's just no doing it. Maybe breakfast, but like once understand it. Like once November hits, this road is just nonstop congested for 10 hours. It's just an absolute nightmare. It's like doing a U-turn is like, it's like a death sentence.
Yeah.
It's just one of those routes that 75% of the business is on one road.
Yeah.
And it's just a nightmare. And the route that's above me, it's like, I'm telling you, like if you live in my area, it's like an exact copy clone of this other route, and I can't do those routes. They're too congested. I like to keep moving.
No, I hear you about that, man. Like I when I'm sitting in traffic or whatever, like or in a certain intersection where it takes too long, I feel like I'm wasting money because I'm like, I just need to get moving. We should all, we all feel that way. We need tires to be moving. We don't need them to be, on the concrete not doing nothing. But I don't.
There's a lot of pickups in the malls too, so.
Yeah, I have a mall. I have 2 malls that I've picked up food from. One I stay away from, and one I'm not out in that zone enough to really see a lot of them. But I try not to be in that area for that kind of reason because it's basically the Clayton U City area. Like there's big shopping center, and then there's a mall, the Galleria Mall, and like getting into that mall, parking, and then walking into the mall, like it's just too many steps. It takes too much time.
Yeah, another issue is going to be the snow because I'm Northeast Ohio, so snow's we've already had snow like 4 days in a row.
Yeah, you'll get hit.
It's going to be an issue.
We'll have snow here in St. Louis as well. Like it could snow tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised. 2 days ago it was like 70 degrees, and then it'll snow 2 days later. I don't mind. I'll dash in the snow. I don't mind it at all.
I don't mind. I've been like a delivery driver, not like I say all my life, but I was in DHL for 6 years, so I had to drive those things through snow, and that's why I'm so good at this job because my knowledge of the area is like impeccable.
Absolutely. So you could see an offer coming through, and that was cross streets. Which way to go. I'm the same way in my zones, man. I feel like real confident in making a decision, and I'll take an order from Uber and DoorDash at the same time if I know it's 2 blocks away, I'll do it because I know the intersections, and you know, it's not for everybody, but if you know your area, you can really maximize your money by doing that.
Yeah, I do that, but I don't really get that opportunity too often. If I do, and I see like, oh wow, might as well do this one.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often for me, but I would say probably, you know, a few times a week I'll do it, and I enjoy it because it's just like I feel like it's extra money for pretty much going the same direction. So
yeah, and that's like the bring up the point of multi-apping. Like my biggest issues with it also are when you multi-app, you're more inclined to unassign. You know, you have a nice little 9 for 3. You're like, all right, I'll do this one.
Yeah.
You try it 3-4 minutes. Next thing you know, you get an Uber Eats. You know, $14 for 5 miles. You're like, shit, I'm gonna do that one.
Yeah.
A lot easier. And then next thing you know, you get to that one, and it's like, oh, how long have you been here? 15 minutes. Oh, I'm gonna have to unassign this one. Next thing you know, a half hour goes, I haven't done one delivery.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. So I think that unassigning, it makes you unassign more, and you don't have that momentum. Like DoorDash keeps you going. Sometimes when I'm just banging on DoorDash, I'm like, wow, I even need Uber Eats right now.
Yeah, in my market, man, Uber Eats is just not. It only hits really at night, and I don't do a lot of night dashing. I mean, we usually try to be home by 7 or so, or if not earlier. And like during lunchtime, Uber Eats is just crap. I just don't get anything, or if I get it $3 to $4 or $5, I just can't rock with that.
Yeah,
but
like,
you know,
my Uber Eats for some reason pays like $1 per mile. Like even with a no tip.
Yeah, I mean, $1 per mile is good. I'm usually about $2 a mile, and I'll do less, but my average is about $2.25. If I look at all my orders, you know, or how many miles I drove in a day and what I made, I'm about $2.25. But I'll do some longer trip ones, but I do a lot of short runs, like $5-6 for like 1.2 miles, 0.7 miles. I mean, it averages out to be pretty decent for me. So,
like, I think it doesn't really hurt hourly, but I think if you stick with one app, you're really capped. Your cap is a lot lower per hour.
Yeah, I mean, based on some of the numbers I've seen in my personal experience, I think having 2 or 3 is a sweet spot. I think if you only have one, like, it can be hard. I think you're costing yourself a few dollars an hour, and I think if you have too much, you might not be gearing in on just a couple apps that can really hit. So if you're running 4 or 5, you might be taking an Instacart order that takes you an hour to complete, where you could have made double the money by doing 2 DoorDashes, you know? So
yeah, plus my Uber Eats it's not limited to a zone. So
yeah, true.
Most of the time they'll take me to zone A or zone C. I'm like, shit, well now I'm like in zone B.
Yeah.
Now I gotta switch apps, switch routes on DoorDash, you know, that kind of hurts.
Yeah.
But I don't know, was there any other topics you had? Catch all
I think we're good, man. I appreciate you taking the time, and good luck out there, and happy holidays, man.
I will. You too, man. Stay safe.
Thanks, man. She's sleeping? Yeah. All right. We're going to end the live pretty soon. There's still 172 people in here, which is crazy. Appreciate every last one of y'all. I really do. I think I'm probably going to spend some time with the girlfriend. We've had a good live. Listen. So if you're just not coming in, watch the beginning. We did a debate topic with the A-Hole guy. A-Hole Patrol, he has a channel. We talked about he doesn't tip and why. And I talked about why I think we should be tipping in certain incidents or in certain times we should be tipping. Sorry, and he just doesn't believe in it. But then he was kind of a hypocrite because he said he does tip sometimes, occasionally. So I thought it was a good conversation. He did make some pretty good points. So if you're coming in late, check out the beginning. Probably at the 22, 23 minute mark is when that conversation started. So if you watch the replay, there you go. We also put a poll up. I want to look at the final numbers on this. 404 votes. Does our current tipping culture in America need to change? Question mark. That's my question to you guys. 69% said yes. 31% said no, it doesn't need to. Surprised by that number, actually. I think overall there's some things that can be modified. I don't think I'm in the camp of that. I don't think it overall doesn't need to change. But I wanted to put that poll out there because I wanted to get you guys' perspective. Let's see. Let's check out the chat. Michael, what up, Dinah? We got Dash and Grandpa still in here. We got Missy Moonlight says, but to everyone, these jobs can actually be the best fun you've ever had if you let it be that way. I like that, Misty. I like that. Excuse me. Kathy in the house still. Mary in the house still. Thank you very much. Mort McFly, Christopher. I won't run an order on DoorDash unless it has a chance to go higher. Okay. So you like those hidden tips. Mixed Martial Alien. You should have asked the poll question differently. It should change because more people should tip. Is that what you mean? Hold on. You should have asked the poll question differently. It should change because more people should tip. Is that what you meant? No, I mean, do we need to have it change as far as like, I guess what I meant was, should tipping kind of go away? Like, should it change? Like, should there be no tipping? Should it just be companies paying the workers? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of in the way I think it should just stay the way it is. Maybe I didn't word it right. I don't know. Did you have the giveaway? Yes, Kathy. Who said that? Yes, Kathy. So I'll announce the giveaway winners again. I already replied to the people in the comment that they left. So Melissa Hill was a winner. Kenny K and David Couric. Those were the 3 winners. I'll do another giveaway, don't worry. But I did announce those in the beginning. Zach, what up, man? I'm in the 31%. I trust my instincts and knowledge. Yeah, I'm kind of rocking with that as well, man. I am. I think if you know your market enough and you do this for a long enough amount of time, maybe it's some weeks, maybe it's a few months. For others, maybe it's years. If you get to know your market and where to go and what to do and what to take, you can make good money doing this. Glad you did the interview. Thanks, Gig. I thought it was good. Yes, I trust my gut. You gotta trust your instincts sometimes, man. And sometimes I've also learned I got 4 or 5 merchants I just refuse to go to, like altogether. But then I got another 4 or 5 where I'm like, I ain't been there in a couple weeks. Maybe their operation's better. A lot of these places have a lot of turnover, so they might have a new manager, a new hostess. If it's a good order, I'll give them a second or third try and check them out. I can't just automatically put all of them on the blacklist, but there are a few that, I do have on there. Sonic is one of them for me. Steak and Shake, just because I have bad experiences or the offers are always just trash. So, listen, this was fun tonight. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the way out. We got 184 thumbs up. Let's get to 200. You guys are fantastic. Okay. We'll have a video out tomorrow, 8:30 Central Standard Time, like we do every day. This was fun. So if you guys want to have me interview somebody else or debate somebody else, send them my way in the email. And if you're one of the winners, hit my email. I will send you those shirts. Melissa Hill, Candy K, K-A-K-A-N-I or K-A-R-I-K, I don't know. Candy K, I commented on the comment. And then David Couric, K-U-R-E-K. Tonight was fun. I'm very appreciative of everybody that super chatted. Thank you very much. Not necessary, but definitely appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up for the owl. After the video, after this live, you can always comment as well, and I'll comment back if you got questions. Bet on you. Set goals one day at a time. That's what we do here. Love you guys. See you guys on the next one.